Whoa. Whoa. I'm late. Just by a little bit. By 5 minutes. Oh well. Oh well. I'm here. That's all that matters. I found out something. Path of Exile 2 is not free, so I will not be playing it. I was misled by friends. Thought it was free. It is only free when it releases later next year. It is in early access right now for $30. So I'm not going to be playing that until it comes out, because I don't I don't really pay for video games anymore. Unless they're old games. I don't pay for new games. It just doesn't happen, especially free-to-play games. I'm not mad at it, though. It's not the fault of Path of Exile. In this case, it was my friend's faults. Well, anyway, I didn't really think of some videos to watch today, so we're just gonna pick some out of my feed, I guess. You're gonna get a little taste of what I usually watch on this account. I have another account that I watch like history stuff on. That's for at night when I'm just chilling. Zoombox, here I am. Do I need to put on a hat? My hair is thinning. Look at that. Look at how bad that is. Need to just shave it all off or get that heaps. It's getting a little ridiculous up there. I ain't gonna get keeps though. I'd rather just shave it off. Might go full Hulk Hogan, who knows? I'm going balder than Asmongold. Alright, let's kill that music. Let's get on with the show. Fables Folly Live, number 3. Well, it's not really. This is like number 15, but I count the other series as season 0. This is season 1, and we're gonna go from now until probably the end of next year, and then we'll call the next phase season 2. Anyway, let's watch
Today we're breaking down the
Coffeezilla. Yeah, sure. Let's watch Coffeezilla. Gaming Green. Coffeezilla. Exposing the Hawk Tua scam. I a little bit went into it yesterday. Saw a little bit of Coffeezilla's Twitter spaces, but it was only from what Charlie jumped in on. You know, Penguin Zero. So I'm going to check out what Coffeezilla actually has to say about this on his Voidzilla channel.
Today we're breaking down the Hawk Tua scam, exactly how it happened, and I'm going to confront the people behind it. Well, I did last night, and let me just say, it didn't go very well.
Happy to answer any
I have questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What Coffeezilla?
Hey, this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
Profiting from the rug pull, I think it's relevant.
We didn't pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not true. Yeah, that's defamation.
Doc, do the math. Do the math.
You're saying that we pulled a rug. There was no rug pull.
3%.
You're defaming our character.
Are you not gonna let me talk? You just talk over me. You talk over me.
I'm really glad to get the perspective of Coffeezilla on this, because just hearing the voices, you don't really get a good perspective, but you get a good feeling of how he's feeling when you're seeing his face.
Hearing bullshit.
Yeah, these people were completely unhinged, unwilling to take any accountability, and we'll talk more to them in a second, but I want to break down the Hawk Tua scam. I think people are confused with this kind of stuff. I want to start with the big tweet that kind of set it all off. That would be this by Bubble Maps, which showed 96% of the supply was controlled by the team and was being sent out to a bunch of smaller wallets. The implication being that some of them might be dumping on you. Pretty quickly, the Hawk Tua girl came in to copy and paste what her team told her to say, which said, team hasn't sold 1 token and not one key opinion leader was given 1 free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees at the start of the launch. And so you see their awful tokenomics here. Along with this response, the team hasn't sold 1 token, and then they post obviously a screenshot of a lot of sells from insiders who did not have to pay. You can see on the bot side, there's nothing, and then on the sold side, they're making a lot of money. So how did you get free tokens? Well, you were an insider, right? And I just want to show you exactly how the Hawk Tua team is sort of lying by omission here when they say the team hasn't sold.
Yeah, pretty much all I've seen is like he said, she said stuff. And I know that there's scamming going on because, I mean, from the he said, she said stuff, they've said there's scamming going on, at least scam adjacent things going on. So I'm glad to actually see a little bit more into what's going on. I've just been seeing charts that I don't understand. Or, I mean, I do understand, but, like, in the context of this situation, I don't really understand. So, here we
One
go.
token. And that's because they pre-sold the tokens, guys. They sold them to a bunch of investors with a pre-sale, and then those people were unlocked immediately upon launch. So you can see that with her tokenomics here. It says Haley's locked for 12 months, but you can see the strategic allocation is fully unlocked immediately on token generation event. Now, I spoke to some people who bought into this pre-sale. They say they got in at $16.69 million total valuation, which means that if they sold out the whole 17%, you're looking at about $2.8 million raised by pre-selling these tokens. So it is essentially a lie to say her team didn't sell tokens. Well, they pre-sold them, and then those investors dumped on your fans. That's the problem. Because Bubble Map says we found 285 investors join the Hawk pre-sale. That's about what I saw as well. 89 wallets sold 100% on launch. 47 sold over 50%. Anyway, you can see in total, $3.3 million were sold. Again, as you'll see, on mostly Haley Welsh's fans, or Hawk to a Girl's fans. And I know what you're thinking. Who falls for this? Well, unfortunately, with situations like this, they're not targeting crypto bros. They're mostly targeting, like, actual fans who've never been involved in, the crypto space before. They don't know any better. And you're going to hear the guy behind a lot of this say that explicitly.
These are people that are outside of crypto that we're going to be onboarding, and they don't give a shit. They don't even know what a market cap is. They just go, oh, cool, free coin. Now I get to join the community. Cool, done.
Oh my god. Like, does he not realize what he's saying? Is he in the crypto space even? Did he just start? Or is he really that full of shit?
Not only did they say it, they sold it in a pitch deck. You can see the Hawk deck here. Massive onboarding event. Hawk will onboard normies. So that's why I just don't buy this thought of, oh, well, if you bought this, you deserve to get scammed. Okay, fine. But a lot of the people who bought it had never bought crypto before.
Okay, another thing. Oh, if you bought it, you deserve to be scammed. Well, the scam still happened, and it shouldn't be happening. It doesn't matter if they deserve to be scammed or not. Don't let scams happen. Are you serious?
They were targeting those people. They said as much in our call. Now, the other part of this scam that I really need to break down because people don't understand it exactly is the fee scam, okay? When this launched, they had 15% fees on trading. They said that this was to stop snipers. But basically what this means, and because the team now blames snipers for a lot of this rug pull, but what it means is they benefited the entire way. You can see in 24 hours, they made almost $2 million from this fee. Meanwhile, on Deck Screener, you can see the sniper, which is the #1 trader on this coin. They made about $1.3 million in their total profits and loss. So they actually made less in total profits, this sniper that ruined the project, than the team made on fees. I, of course, asked who benefited. Did Hawk to a Girl make the money? Who made the money in this whole thing? And they essentially dodged the question. Who's making millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the
Who's making fees?
So we can keep this thing going for years. Okay. That's how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora pools.
Who made the money on the fees? Well, the fees, you see, the fees are there because of a thing. That's not what he asked. That's how you know that it's a scam, when somebody who investigates scam is asking you if it's a scam and you're dodging the questions. That's how you know it's a scam. Don't mess with CoffeeZilla. If CoffeeZilla has attached himself to you, you have fucked up. You have fucked up somewhere along the line. Because so far, CoffeeZilla has only won, and except with Logan Paul, but I still say that he technically won because everybody hates Logan Paul.
And that goes to, yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that own? Who that?
Andrew Tate doesn't count because he's in Romania.
Who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project.
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch, right? And
How much does Haley Welsh own?
This is Haley Welch's project,
So
and
she owns all of it.
Coffeezilla.
I'm just trying to figure out who owns
Do you
it.
know how much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself? You know, this is how you run a project forever. Is you have to fund that. How and first of all, over here can speak to the extensive amount of work and time and people that are on this project. Over here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak. This is not a small time type of nothing. We're really trying to do something here, and not just do it for one day and do it for 2 days. Like,
So who made the money? You haven't answered the question. Who made the money? How much did Haley Welsh make of that million, 1.8 million?
it's a foundation that is running this project.
How much does she own of it?
It's a foundation. She owns zero of the foundation.
So y'all made the money?
No, I don't own the foundation either. A foundation.
Brother, who profited? Over $1 million was just made.
A foundation that pays people out. And by the way, Coffeezilla, I'm not asking you, questions that are irrelevant to the most important stuff that you said. Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills.
You heard him right. Who cares where millions of dollars went? Supposedly, they have 18 people working on the Hawk to a meme token.
I'll tell you who cares where all that money went. The U.S. government, because they want it. They want theirs, and they gotta know where that went.
So, I don't know if that's true, but that's at least what they're claiming. Now, the last thing I need to say before we jump into this context that you need is that there are 4 groups to look out for here. 1, you have Hawk to a Girl, who is promoting this thing. 2, you have this guy, Doc Hollywood, who is like Howie Mandel's like son-in-law or something like that. Like, he's this guy who has some connections in Hollywood, and he seems to be the guy connecting Hawk to a Girl with crypto, and he said he was teaching her a meme coin class, okay? And he goes unhinged on her call. 3, you have the guys running the crypto token, and 4, you have the insiders who paid money to get early access to this coin and then are rug pulling a lot of Haley Welsh's fans. What you want to make of that, who you exactly want to assign blame to, is up to you.
All of them.
A lot of people.
No, I assign blame to literally all of them. And they all should be going down. Except for maybe the rug pullers. The actual people who invested in it and rug pulled. Because, I mean, they just took advantage. And that's shitty, but, like, you're making money's making money to them. I don't know if they actually did anything illegal. But if they were allowed to do this and Haley or whoever made money because of it, that's a scam.
People are saying, oh, she didn't know any better. She's getting taken advantage of. Maybe, or maybe she's making a ton of money. Talking about Hawk to a Girl. So, with that said, I just want to show you the call last night. That is what I knew going into this call. And you'll see my questions.
And you know, I don't like this whole everybody sees Haley Welch as this innocent little girl, like country bumpkin. I don't play that. She is an adult, right? She is an adult making millions and millions of dollars. And then she turns around and has this scam going and everybody's saying it's a scam. And if it was me doing something like this and everybody was saying, hey, I think this is a scam, I'd be like, oh shit, this may or may not be a scam, but everybody says it is. I better shut it down.
Target some of these different aspects of what I believe to be a scam in this call. And the last thing I have to say is that when they did do this call, they monologued for like 12 to 15 minutes before they let anyone up. So I was extremely frustrated by the time I got up. I think you'll hear a little bit of that in my voice. Not only that, this Doc Hollywood guy called people mentally ill. He said that people should be thanking him or kissing his butt, basically, for doing this for them, as if he's doing them a favor. Basically, generally berating the people who had maybe lost money in this. And so quite frustrating to go into. And, well, anyway, enjoy.
Everyone thinks that, oh, everything's a rug. Everything's a rug. Everyone's here to you. Nah, we're here to onboard real people outside of this spaces, right? The people here, you guys are already y'all are ahead every day thinking everything's a scam. And you know what? You guys are right. Everything is a scam, but not this. Not this. We did not spend 6-7 months of our lives dedicated to trying to do something cool, right? To do something different, not dumping on you, not bundle.
Do something different. This is the same thing that every social media scammer does. What are you talking about? Do something different.
Snipes. Not 100% of the liquidity or whatever.
What did he say?
Not bundle snipes. Not 100% of the liquidity or whatever was bundle sniped by the team and propped up charts. You guys are not the target audience. Sorry to say, right? This is not the target audience.
Who's he talking to?
The target audience, which is why I'm even doing this, which is what's cool about it, is it's not in this spaces. And listen, most of you, we don't want you in the community. Let's be real, right? You're not great people. I don't know y'all, right? I see some friendly faces in this audience.
He's having a meltdown.
You know, I'm going to say y'all, you guys, right? There's a lot of negativity in the space. I think crypto brings the mentally ill into this thing, right? If you guys are in crypto, you're most
Audio issues are on his end, not mine.
likely mentally ill, and I'm gonna count myself as mentally ill for even being here right now. We're trying to actually have fun. We're trying to do something cool. We're trying to give meme tokens away for free to people who have never had any crypto before, any meme token. And you guys should be kissing my ass because I'm trying to do something dope.
This guy's entitled. He is entitled, thinks that he's a king. Well, we're about to dethrone this false king.
Yeah, so that's how all of this started. I had watched as people got wrecked on chain, and then I go here in the actual space that's supposed to address everything, a guy berating everyone, calling them mentally ill and telling them they should be thanking him. And that's what led to sort of my attitude when I went up on stage. Also, Twitter Spaces is horrible for doing this kind of work. I normally wouldn't choose it, but all these guys seem to love Twitter Spaces. I don't know why. The problem is people filibuster. So I know I interrupted a lot. That's because you can't let these people go run off on like 10-hour explanations, which they will do if you let them. So, yeah, anyway, here's when I got up on the space.
Happy to answer any
I have
questions.
questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey, guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey,
Hey, man.
this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I've been tracing it on chain for a while. You guys generated over $1 million in fees while y'all's fans got rug pulled. There was snipers, but there was also insider trading directly linked to y'all's creator account. What are you guys doing?
No, that's not true.
That is true. That's a
No,
fact.
it's not.
Well, it's a fact, and you can see it on chain. So
Yeah, we know. We trust me. We were there. We can answer that.
you know,
We can answer that. Proceeds to not answer any of CoffeeZilla's questions and then silences him.
about the insider trading.
No, there's no insider trading. That's why we can answer it.
Okay, so there's tokens
CoffeeZilla,
going to.
There's no insider trading, but they go on to not answer any of the questions. Except for, is this a scam? No, it's not. That's what he says. That's his answer.
Directly from the main account,
CoffeeZilla, just chill for a second.
and then it's getting sold for $50K. Who is that?
Definitely not us. You think we're doing this for 50K? Yeah, fucking right. Talking to the wrong guy. You're used to these bullshit scammers out here. Not us. Now, we had.
That's what everyone says, by the way.
Listen, doesn't matter. No, I'm not everyone. There was a.
My God. Scammer says, I ain't scamming. I ain't a scammer like all these other scammers. Everybody doing the exact same thing as me. Those are the scammers, not me.
Strategic allocation, right, through a foundation. Every single one of those was signed through a SAFT. The deployer wallet. You've heard of a strategic allocation or a private
How much
sale.
did y'all get doing a pre-sale? How much did y'all make?
It's not that
Selling
we
out
made.
your fans so
Over
other
here,
people
can
can
you give
dump on your
exact? Hold on,
fans.
CoffeeZilla, take a chill pill, brother.
Yeah. So
Let's
Y'all
just
just
speak.
rug pulled a bunch of people. What are
No,
you
no, there's
talking?
no rug. We're here every single day. There's no rug pulled, and it's not done by us. Yes, snipers sniped it up to an insane market cap
No, it's
and
not
dumped
just
it.
snipers.
That was not
No, it's
us.
not
That
just
was
that, and you know that.
listen. No, no, no. I'm telling you the
And
truth.
y'all made millions on fees from this little scheme.
There's not a.
It was not just snipers, it was people who bought in early, who were allowed to buy in early, that waited until it launched and sold on all of the fans that bought in when it launched.
I'm sure that's not you getting those fees,
It's
right?
not a
Who's making
scheme.
the money on the fees?
It's
Who's
not a
making
scheme.
millions of dollars on fees from this rug pull?
That's not a scheme. That's the
Who's making
project. So we
fees?
can keep this thing going for years. Okay. That's how do you think? There's so many expenses.
Who
Right.
makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora pools, and that goes to yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that
which
who does that belong to?
that belongs to the project, right?
Who's the project? Who is the
Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Listen to what he's saying here, because he changed it from it goes to the creator to it goes to the project. Who's the creator? The creator can't be the project. The project didn't create itself.
project?
Well, the project is over here, right?
Who's the project? Who
Creator with Meteora pools, and that goes to yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who does that who does that belong to?
That belongs to the project, right?
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch, right? And
So Haley Welch is the creator. That's what he just said in that line of speaking. He said Haley Welch. Hang on just a second. My brother just showed up. I gotta open the door.
How much does Haley Welch own?
This is Haley Welch's project.
So she owns all of it.
CoffeeZilla.
Did she just make $1 million on fees on a rug?
Do you know how much it costs for lawyer fees to create a foundation in the Cayman Islands, to hire directors? You think this stuff pays for itself, right?
So y'all wanted to make the money on day one? I don't understand. I'm just asking.
We're here every single day.
Millions of
Day
dollars
one,
in fees from the
day
rug.
two, day three. You know, this is how you run a project forever. Is you have to fund that. First of all, over here can speak to the extensive amount of work and time and people that are on this project.
We scammed a whole bunch of people because we have bills to pay.
Over here has around 18 people working on this right now as we speak. This is not a small time type of nothing. We're really trying to do something here and not just do it for one day and do it for 2 days like you're used to.
So who made the money? You haven't answered the question. Who made the money? How much did Haley Welch make of that 1.8 million?
It's a foundation that is running this project.
How much does she own of it?
It's a foundation. She owns zero of the foundation.
So y'all made the money?
No, I don't own the foundation.
That's not what he asked. She makes zero from the foundation. That's not what he asked. That was not the answer that went to that question.
Either a foundation in the Cayman Islands.
Who profited? Over $1 million was just made.
I'm telling you, a foundation that pays people out. And by the way, CoffeeZilla, I'm not asking you, questions that are irrelevant to the most important stuff that you said. Who cares where fees go? It goes to bills. It goes to attorneys. It goes to accountants. It goes to directors.
You're charging 15% on
staff,
a rug pull, and you're profiting from the rug pull.
There's no rug pull because we didn't pull a rug. I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not true. That's defamation.
Doc,
you're saying,
do the math. Do the math.
Defamation. You're saying that we pulled the rug. There was no rug pulled.
3%.
You're defaming our character.
Are you not going to let me talk? You
It's bullshit.
just talk over me. You talk over me.
I'm hearing bullshit.
No, you're not. You're talking over me. Let me just lay out your tokenomics. You guys released 3% to the Meteora pool, while you have 17% of the token allocation unlocked day one from your strategic allocation. Are you guys insane? What do you guys think exactly is going to happen when your insiders get sent their tokens? And by the way, who made the money from your 17% pre-sale while you're giving a tiny piece of the pie to the public? Like, what the hell? This is the worst tokenomics I've ever seen, and it is a scam.
It's not a scam.
The tokenomics are a scam. That's my opinion. You can say whatever you want about it. You can cry defamation. That's my opinion. It's a scam. And
I don't even think that's an opinion at this point. It's straight up fact. It's like looking at everything, like you can't, it's undeniable that it's a scam. Like don't put your money into this kind of stuff, man, because they're just gonna pull it right out from under you.
I only do this for a living. I've only seen 1 million of these projects.
So who pays you, CoffeeZilla? Let's.
Ooh, turn it around. Turn it around. Turn it around. Nobody's here for me. Everyone's here for you. Where did the fees go? Where did the money for the pre-sale tokens go? Why did y'all unlock day one so people could dump on Haley Welsh's fans? And how involved was she really? And how much money is she making from all this? What's her cut? I just got muted. So yeah, that was the conversation. Obviously,
Well, they muted them. So, you know they're in the wrong. They didn't answer any of the questions. They answered the questions with wrong answers. Like, the wrong answers, the answers that didn't go to those questions. And then they silenced them. Great look. Great look. Haley Welsh.
I got a little heated there towards the end because, I don't know, there was something about this guy berating people who had lost money and insisting that what was so transparently true about the fees being made, about who's benefiting from the pre-sale, just dodging all of that, it gets me so bothered. I guess it shouldn't at this point, but, you know, what can I say? I'm only human. I will go ahead and highlight there were two other moments. FaZe Banks got up and called these guys out, which is funny.
This 100% was a mismanaged, mislaunched.
This is new. I didn't hear about this.
Like this is took what CoffeeZilla said. I would label this a scam as well. It's pretty obvious. Like CoffeeZilla.
Bro, when you're getting called out by FaZe Banks, like, this is not good. What are you doing? You need to cut your losses. Give everybody back their money who lost money. And then just turn it off.
Zilla brought up 97% of the token was bundled into the same cluster. And in layman's terms, that just basically means 90%. 97% of all the tokens owned were by related wallets, friends of friends of friends of friends. They were
No,
like,
that's not true. It's not true.
yeah, yes, it is true.
False.
Yes, no, it's 100% true.
And then also Nick O'Neill, who is another crypto Twitter guy, he got up there and he asked them basically what I did because they wouldn't let me back up on the space. And he said, where's the money going to? And then Hawk to a girl, decided it was time for bed. And that was the end of the space.
So I'm sort of curious, like, not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual, like,
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But
Yeah.
anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
The way she said that, she sounded like, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Like, I think she's freaking out. I think she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know anything about crypto. And everything is coming back to her, that it's a scam. And I think they're gonna all blame it on her. I think they're gonna drop it on her.
For talking over here.
Can you imagine being asked questions about a scam and in the middle of the questioning you go, oh, yeah, I think I'm gonna hit the bed, you know? Gotta wake up bright and early for tomorrow. That is just wild. These people are not serious, or at least it doesn't appear that they're taking it very seriously. I think it's concerning when you have a project which, you know, they can say whatever they want about their 18 employees and all the, you know, hundreds of thousands they supposedly paid to set up these like Cayman Island corps to do it the right way. But at the end of the day, when you make millions of dollars on launch, where does that come from?
Also, why do you got to go to the Cayman Islands to do this? Is it because they have different legalities than the United States when it comes to this kind of stuff? 100%. 100% that's what they did. They said it. They straight up said it.
When your insiders sell $3 million, where does that come from? Maybe the normies that you were targeting to get in? That is my problem. That is my issue. And that's why I came at them so hard. And that's basically it. I think Haley Welsh, or Hawk to a Girl, to whatever extent she was involved is still unclear, or was unclear until her transactional entertainment lawyer contacted me. I'm just editing this live, guys. He contacted me and said he wants to have a offline convo. I said I can't do that. This is a live story. If she wants to comment on the story or shed light on how much she's been paid, kindly respond. I'll put up all these screenshots. They say she was paid in advance from a company to
Do not contact an actual journalist. What are you doing? Are you stupid? This was the worst move that they could possibly make.
handle the token marketing dev launch of $125,000. That's the only money she's seen to date. If you have any specific questions, happy to answer. I said, what company was she paid by? What's the agreement? Did she see a cut of the pre-sale or fees from the liquidity pool? The best thing for my story is to get a copy of the agreement, of course. Christian replies, she was supposed to get 50% of net proceeds after payments of costs to third parties. Is that the 18 employees or whatever they have? I don't know. I don't know what costs they have, but 50% is a lot. They were supposed to be mutually approved between her and the company. All decisions regarding to allocation were supposed to be mutually approved. Those decisions haven't been made at this point. The goal would be to salvage the token for the holders and her true fans and do right by the community. That's not going to happen. I can't provide the actual contract, as you can imagine, but I'm happy to continue to be responsive. Your spaces and comments have been helpful, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate what you... Okay, we all know. They always say that, by the way. This guy does not appreciate what I do, I don't think. You know, an entertainment lawyer appreciating somebody talking about somebody.
I don't think he cares. I actually don't think that lawyer cares. If this goes through, that means Haley's going to have to pay him more money. So he don't care. He's a lawyer. He gets paid either way.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Look, the big deal, what he said, is 50% net proceeds. That's a lot, actually. Now, again, 18 employees working on the Hawk to a coin. I don't know how much they're going to end up seeing at the end of the day, but it's going to be real money. The question about, like, oh, salvage the coin, want to salvage the coin. Guys, the problem is you've sold millions of dollars of pre-sale tokens, and they're still out there. There's still people with these coins who are waiting to sell. So the second you go and salvage it for the fans, you're kind of dooming them again. So the best situation is just people, well, I don't really know. I don't like to give advice in situations like this. You know, it's like asking someone how to clean up a car crash. It's like, well, ideally this wouldn't have happened in the first place. So can't give too much advice there. The situation's horrible as it is. I appreciate them actually responding though, but she is actually making a lot of money off of this, and I do actually think that's a problem. So, I don't know. I think this whole situation is terrible, and she should feel bad. I hope she does, really, because she got in bed with these people who clearly saw dollar signs. She saw dollar signs, and they did this, and people have been hurt. So, yeah, that's basically it. Oh, one more message from Hawk's lawyer. This guy keeps messaging me. He says, this was not a speculative opportunity for her. She truly didn't intend to fleece fans. She genuinely wanted to make this a community token of fans and onboard Web 2 to Web 3 and be a long-term face.
That means nothing. And lawyers lie all the time. So, like, that was just a nothing statement. Why even send that? I think that guy it might be stupid. They're all stupid. They're all stupid. They got involved in a crypto scam. especially Haley Welch. Like, my God, did she not know what she was getting into? She not heard all these crypto scams from everybody around these meme coins and rug pulls? If everybody's talking about a rug pull happened, then a rug pull happened. Get out of it. Pay everybody their money back. Get your name off of it. Don't do that again. All right, what's next? Let's see. Path of Exile 2's out right now. Everybody's loving it, and it's pissing me off. Okay. Tube's most degenerate brony? Nah. Let's go back to my watch later. Ooh, yeah, here we go. Here's one. I will get to it in literally a minute. I have to urinate. I've returned. Okay. Hank Green says, this is going to be very weird. Something about Blue Sky. I don't know. But this is Asmongold TV's version because I don't really like Hank Green that much. And I'd rather have somebody else to talk me through it because I don't like listening to him. So here we go. No, get off that screen. Why are you doing this? There we go.
Who's creating this non-human army? Wait, what? What the hell?
I just found something absolutely fascinating. This is going to be a big part of our lives, and I do not know how to handle it. So I was just on Blue Sky, and I tweeted about how I think that we've all sort of like headed over to Blue Sky thinking, oh, I've been tired of the way that Twitter is. I'm going to go to Blue Sky.
What? What? And what are you tired of on Twitter? That you're not in an echo chamber? And that Blue Sky is an echo chamber? You know how I know it's an echo chamber? I got banned from there almost immediately. I'm gonna move out of the way of Asmongold.
Thinking
He thought he gonna get away from the bots. Oh no.
No, he didn't think he was getting away from the bots. He thought he was getting away from the hate and traded the hate for bots.
it's just like basically a Twitter replacement.
Yeah.
But of course, it is much more than that. And I'll explain this more in a future video, I think. But basically, the idea is...
It's more of a Hotmail replacement than a Twitter replacement. Come on, give me a break.
Instead of having the platform and the protocol be the same thing, you split those things out. You say, okay, here is the platform, that's Blue Sky, and then there's a protocol called @Proto, I think is what it's called. And that's like how you have Hotmail and Gmail and all of the and Yahoo Mail, all the other mails, and then underneath that there's a protocol that they all use and they're interoperable between the services. And Twitter functions like the protocol and the platform are the same thing. and Blue Sky functions like they are different things, and that's a big deal.
Does that matter?
And it changes how things are going to be. Like, you can buy Blue Sky the same way that Microsoft bought Hotmail, but nobody can buy email. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, he bought Hotmail and email. He bought the thing and the protocol. If you bought Blue Sky, there would still be @protocol running underneath it, and that could be then used by any number of other people to build a client on top of it that would let you see all of this stuff. Like, you can go...
Well, they can ban you in Blue Sky, right?
Yes, because I got banned. How would they not be able to ban you? Like, they have to be able to ban you. That was a stupid question.
Because I see people talking about getting banned in Blue Sky all the time.
Well, really, the way it works is like your account doesn't get banned. You just get banned. Your account is banned from everybody, like the whole scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so how's that true? Elon didn't buy email? Yeah, I feel like I don't think that's really what happened, because if you think about it like this, buying email would be like buying social media. Buying Hotmail would be like buying Twitter. And by the way, Microsoft, I think, bought Skype. So we even have an example of that happening. So, like, if you can get banned by a central authority...
You know what I think? I think that Hank Green is pretending to be smart on the internet because he knows some things about science. So now he thinks he knows a little bit about everything. And everybody thinks that because he knows things about science, he knows a little bit about everything because he's a smart guy. And I think that he really fakes a lot of the things that he knows when it comes to anything that's not like basic science stuff, and lies about it. And everybody buys it because they think he's smart. He does it all the time.
Authority, it's not decentralized.
So does John Green. Both of them do it.
Right now, and look at the Blue Sky fire hose. This is available for everyone to do whatever.
Man, I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes on this video because I'm talking shit about everybody's favorite YouTube scientist.
They want with, and you could take this and you could build a platform on top of it that just put all of this stuff into a thing that would, you could create a follow graph, you could port follow graphs from one place to another, you could move accounts from one place to another. This is happening all the time behind the scenes, and it's all
This is
public,
the Matrix. I've
which
seen this
I don't
movie.
think people get, and has all kinds of implications, but that's not what this video is about. So hopefully that did not overwhelm you too much, but that's what Blue Sky looks like behind the scenes. But what I actually want to talk about
He's simplifying it, but basically Twitter has proprietary protocol that can't be used by third parties. Is this the same type of issue that Reddit ran into with its API access and then changing the API access?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Half of people are saying yes, half are saying no.
No, it's yes. Kind of.
So I tweeted
mostly.
about this. The goal of Blue Sky is to decentralize the social internet so that every individual controls their experience of it rather than having it be controlled by 5 random billionaires. Everyone thinks they signed up for a demuskified Twitter. We actually signed up for an exciting and bizarre experiment.
Well, yeah, of course, because if they can ban you, then you're just trading one owner for another, aren't you?
But this one's not a billionaire. Just a millionaire.
I feel like you are at that point. If you're saying, okay, we're going to go over to this other platform, and now there are different rules that we have to follow on this other platform, what difference functionally is that from Twitter? That's not the point? Well, then what would it be? I mean, I don't even understand.
And I kind of tweeted this because I wanted to understand the extent to which people understood this, but also to get some feedback on my perspective here to try to challenge that a little bit. And I got someone...
There are critters in my attic, damn it.
challenging my perspective. It's Flower Garden who says this is a concerning misrepresentation of Blue Sky's intentions. Decentralizing the internet doesn't necessarily mean individuals control their experience, but rather that companies like Twitter don't have a stranglehold on the platform. This oversimplification undermines the complexity of the issue. Now, I thought this is kind of a weird way to tweet that, but that's interesting enough for me that I'd like to hear more from this.
That's because you're looking at this from a centralist perspective, a regular person perspective. You have to put your mind into the shoes of a leftist when you're looking at this. You're not going to get it because these people are crazy and they think that X is terrible and that they can't say anything because they get piled on Twitter. That's these people, like, they don't get it. They don't get that Twitter is based on what you view and the people that you interact with. If you view garbage and you interact with garbage people, then that's all you're going to get is garbage.
This person. So
they want it fed to them. They want their information fed to them. They don't want to go seek it out.
Replied, can you tell me more about what you think I misrepresented?
The protocol is basically a standard to design other social media on that will be compatible to communicate with other social media using it.
That just sounds to me like a bunch of social media platforms are going to have all the same rules. And I don't like social media with rules. That's why I'm on X in the first place.
But, like, how would that function as a value to me as an individual user? Like, is that a functional difference that matters to me as a user? Because I can't really...
I think it does matter, and it's bad.
...really see that mattering. It doesn't, yeah. So why would that have anything to do with it?
We are going to decentralize social media by making all social media the same. Like, it's so ridiculous.
And they didn't reply for a while, and I didn't. That makes sense. And then I came back thinking, oh, maybe that person replied, and they didn't. And I was like, well, okay, let's check out their account. Let's go to see who they are. They have 23 followers, and they're following 12 people, and they're a passionate dog trainer and rescue advocate, and they say, hi, Dog Twitter, excited to join this amazing community of dog lovers, forever learning from the unconditional love of dogs. Normal. Wow. Pretty normal. A little weird. Pretty normal. Replies from this person. Thread, we're on Team Joe, do whatever the fuck you want. I disagree.
I see. So this is ChatGPT, and they're trying to get around the automatic filters. So a lot of social media websites have this system that automatically detects bots. And the way that you get around the automatic bot detection is by interacting with and having other people interact with your account who are verified humans. So all of this is created in order to get around bots.
With the implication that Joe Biden is a wild card who could disregard the law. As president, he has a responsibility to uphold the Constitution. Star Wars did give us a slur for robots, clankers, but I don't use it because you don't want to have to look a robot in the eye in 50 years and be like, you don't understand, it was a different time.
I'm so glad I never made an account on this website. This is the most cringe fucking shit ever. Oh my God.
Tweet.
Oh my God.
I disagree with this perspective. A slur is a derogatory term regardless of the context in which it originated. My tweet, that's a concerning misrepresentation. This tweet, not
and
for
so
nothing.
It's programmed in order to it's programmed to disagree because disagreement is more likely to prompt interaction. That's like 95% what I think is happening.
But the blowback season on the Korean War was great. I strongly disagree. Best supporting actor, Kieran Culkin. I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
While this intention is laudable, simplistic solutions. That's a ridiculous interpretation.
It's a bot.
I'm skeptical about this sudden change.
Yep.
I disagree. I strongly disagree. That's not entirely accurate.
It's like the internet rule. If you want to have a solution to a problem, don't post the question, post the wrong answer.
This is a bot
Then other people will come and correct you.
And that's how you get engagement, and that's how you get ad money on Twitter. That's literally what ad money is, how it's made on Twitter right now. Which is a problem, and it's being addressed, and it's slowly being fixed. And these things happen with new social media websites. So you can say, oh, it's not new, it's been around forever, it's just Twitter. It is not Twitter anymore. They have completely changed everything. It is new. It is effectively new. They just bought a fan base to add to their new app.
ChatGPT or some large language
disagree.
model in
Well,
with
all right, let me pull
the
that guy up.
prompt disagree with stuff.
Yeah.
And I fucking walked right into it. I was like, this is a weird thing. Like, I actually think you're wrong.
Well, he got God. That's what happened. You got God. You thought it was a guy? It wasn't a guy. It's a robot. That's what happens.
Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we...
I interact with everybody on X and anywhere else like they are bots. I already assume that everyone's a bot, so I just don't take it serious.
Gonna do, and they're getting lots of engagement. That's not the wage increase is likely led to,
of course, they get
significant
engagement.
Job losses and price hikes as the industry struggled to absorb the added costs. Reply.
And everybody's arguing. Nice argument. Why? Because you say so. Like, yeah, nobody even understands at all. Nobody understands at all that it's a bot. And this is the issue: is that bots now are getting better. Everybody thinks that bots aren't going to get better. Like, oh, I'm good at detecting bots. Really, you're good at detecting bots.
I am good at detecting bots. You know how I'm good at detecting bots? I only interact with people that I know are 100% for true, real people.
How many bots have you detected that you didn't know that you did? How many bots have you interacted with that you didn't know? Well, that's an unknowable number.
Well, if you assume everybody that you interact with, that's not the usual people that you interact with that you know is not a bot, I just assume they're bots.
The nature of the fact that you didn't know that they were bots.
So they're all bots.
You see? Like, it's...
Engagement. What is the point, dog lover?
Somebody up in that chat said, am I a bot? Yes. To me, you are a bot because I don't know you.
What are you trying to do? Flowergarden.bluesky.social. And for how long am I going to be able to even tell the difference? Like, if it hadn't been that
Well, he couldn't tell the difference. You didn't tell the difference. You got God. That's the whole point. It worked on him, and this guy is very computer literate. He's an intelligent person. And so if he's getting God, think about what the Facebook grandmas are having. They've been got.
And if it was a little bit better, so the question is going to move from what
you want to talk about Facebook grandmas? What about the Facebook grandpas who are interacting with these lady bots who were I used to work at Dollar General. I was a manager. We'd have all the time people come in buying gift cards for scams. Like they were getting scammed, and there was nothing that we could do about it most of the time. Because if we tried to tell these people that they're getting scammed or we try to turn them away, then they freak out and get mad because they actually think they're sending these gift cards to their girlfriend. And it happens so often. And I live in a small town. And I'd get 2 or 3 different people every day coming in, buying a whole bunch of different gift cards. And when you ask them about it, because that was the thing, if they're buying too many different types of gift cards, you have to ask them what it's for. And a lot of times they will say, oh, I'm buying these for my girlfriend. My girlfriend asked me to get these for her.
We do about this, which is nothing. So like there will be people out there pretending to be people, and we will not be able to tell them apart from real people. There's something we can do
like
about
Hillary
that,
Clinton.
which would be like a sort of curated blue sky.
The only way you can solve that problem is by having real identity verification that is authenticated by maybe a third party or by the government that then allows you to make an account through that, like South Korea. That's the only solution. Yeah, that's it. So you either have one or the other. I cannot, maybe I'm not creative enough. I cannot think of a third option. Bad idea, but true. Well, what's the fastest way to warm yourself up? Set yourself on fire. That's technically true, but it's not a good idea. So there are a lot of things that you can do that work, that serve a purpose, but you shouldn't do them.
True humans that is proved to be humans in some very true and clear way. But I don't know that that's the good solution to the problem, because there are reasons why people would want to be anonymous on the internet. And maybe you can disentangle those things, but I don't know. I think that the bigger thing is like, what's the incentive for doing this? And how do you turn off that incentive? And I can't figure out what the incentive for doing it is. And so
Of course you... Come on, bro. What do you mean you don't know what the incentive is?
Money!
How many psychological studies have we seen that have been conducted over the last 50 years that show that people have a herd bias? People buy botnets because if you have, like, let's say, a view bot on Twitch and a lot of people see your stream and they see your stream is popular, they'll think that your stream is good. That's the way it works with people. And I know it sounds like a stupid...
Is that true? Is that true? Should I be botting my streams? I'm not going to do that, but should I be doing that?
Thing, but I think that it's absolutely true. And it's always been true as well.
Because right now I'm looking over and I'm seeing 0, 0, 0 on my views. I don't give a fuck, because this is just to get me to actually make the videos. The real money comes from me uploading these after the stream. Hopefully it pops off later, but if it doesn't, I don't care, because this is just to get me to sit down and actually record these videos.
We'll get to it. Yeah, exactly, right? And so if botnets are massively popular because if people see something getting a lot of likes, or they see an opinion getting very popular, then they'll have that opinion.
So I don't know how to turn down the incentive. Give me in the comments.
You can't, because it's hardwired into... The only way you can turn this off is by real ID verification, I believe. And you can never get rid of the incentive for this to be on social media, because to the extent that you can communicate ideas, there is a financial goal in communicating certain ideas. And that financial goal will be met by people that are using unethical means to do so, unless they can't do that. That's just how it is. So you can't get rid of this because it's hardwired into people's brains.
Ideas for what you think the point of this is. Is it to build an account that has like a history and some followers so that it can then be used to spam? And if the price of doing that is so low that all you need to do like is nothing. I mean, I guess you just like turn this program on and you have to have like an instance of a large language model running, but maybe that's fairly inexpensive now. And so now you could just like, maybe this costs like 12 cents a year to run.
Yeah.
And then if you can at one point flip it to become a spam account or an influence account, or is it just like so Discord? Is it just being...
Of course not. No, people don't actively do that regularly on a large scale. There are always going to be bad actors and jokers in the world, but it's always going to be a minority. The reason why it happens is because, so basically a lot of social media websites, I said this at the beginning, but I'll kind of like summarize it because he just brought it up. Social media websites have what is effectively bot culling, which means that brand new accounts are sometimes limited in their features and they are limited in their interaction possibilities. And there are ways that you can get around these limitations, such as linking a phone number, linking an email account, or doing something like that. But what happens is that these accounts need to, there are like internal checks and balances, or actually just checks. There are internal criteria checks that each social media network is programmed with in order to like subversively determine whether an individual is a bot or a real person. And they use that in order to cut down on botting. YouTube has it, Facebook has it, Twitter has it, Blue Sky probably has it, but it's not very good. And so all of these platforms have it, and the issue is that because you can do this at scale instantaneously effectively, the A/B testing for figuring out what triggers the so like basically this is the reason. Okay, well let's take another step back. So Blizzard bans bots in massive waves and not regularly. The reason why they don't ban them regularly is because they don't want bot makers and hackers to do what is effectively A/B testing, which means like basically you try doing this, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to try doing that. That does work. Okay, now I'm going to try doing that and then this. Okay, that doesn't work. And then you just keep changing it to where you can reverse engineer the process by failing at every step possible in order to effectively figure out, how do you figure out where to go? You figure out where not to go. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why Blizzard doesn't mass ban bots. But the problem is that social media has to do that. And in the process of having to do that, and you can fail max, right? Well, you are fail maxing, but you're doing it at scale and you're doing it robotically. So there's no actual cost of labor. So basically what they do is they set up these programs, they figure out what the checks are, and then they calibrate their botting system to...
You know what that sounds like to me? That all sounds like we're going to have to put our IDs into these websites to be able to actually use them, which kind of doesn't bother me right now because I have to put in my ID to get paid from these websites. But if I was just a regular user, if I want to use an account that doesn't have anything to do with my monetization, then like I don't want to put my ID in. But if you don't require that, there's going to just be bots everywhere. But if you do put your ID, then that gives room for your ID to be tracked and you to be tracked even more, and your identity to be used and kept in data banks. I don't like that. I don't like when companies and governments keep tabs on my information, because then what was the point of getting rid of the bots if my identity is just going to be stolen? And then that will be the bot. The bot will steal our identities and pretend to be us. Or they'll just start creating new people, because it's getting deep into our government systems. And I think we will start seeing fake people pop up in the system. And I think that fake people are already being created by people in the system, i.e. the CIA. And if the CIA is able to do something, there are hackers that have way more capability than them, that are outside the government, that are just playing around in their basement. They're way more capable.
Do things that will go underneath those checks. Why do you think negative comments are why they're doing this? They're doing it with negative comments because negative comments have a higher probability of attracting an interaction or attracting a like. So what they're going to do, and this is the reason also, here's another component to it with YouTube. The other component to it with YouTube is the fact that if you look at a lot of the comments on YouTube that are made by fake accounts, every single one of them almost is copy pasting an existing top comment, because they're programmed to identify the top and most interacted with comments and then repost those comments because those comments are the highest likely to receive interaction. And so all of this is created so that people that use botnets can use them for different means. Why do I know so much about botting? Because it's about any scam or anything like that, I know a lot about it. Yeah. Anything like that. These are basically what alien people say, the soul-sucking aliens. Now it's bots. Yeah, exactly. But there it is.
Run by some organization that would like to create more discord in the English-speaking world, and is like, let's just sort of fill...
No, this is no Russia hoax or some shit like that. It has nothing to do with that. I'm sure, yes, of course, there are people who are Russian disinformation agents, but to think that they're like disagreeing with people on an individual level on Blue Sky, of course not.
All social media platforms up with bots that are designed to disagree and to increase disagreement. I could honestly see that. I don't see that with this because it's not mean enough. Like if it were meaner, or maybe it just like starts nice and becomes meaner over time. But this is so good at that it is really making me think if there's somebody out here on the internet that's making me mad, there is a high probability that that's not even a real person, and that it is indeed like, what's the incentive? The only incentive is like, take up.
Even if it is a real person making you mad, why do you even pretend that they're real? Like, they're fake. They're not real. you're not going to see this person in real life, most likely. Even if you do, fuck them.
My time, distract me, and make me have less faith in my society and fellow people. So like that
I think that's a fair assumption to make, but I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think this is some sort of like geopolitical power grab where like China is like paying Chinese people to disagree with Americans to make Americans mad. It's just not what's happening.
Is a strong push toward block if people are being disrespectful.
And also, why wouldn't they do it? It's not that they aren't doing it. It's that the scale of doing it is probably 95% or 99% botnets and 1 to 5% propaganda. I'm not saying it's not happening at all, but I'm saying that it's not the prime causal factor, and it's not even close to being the prime causal factor. It's very, very low probability.
You also never know. It could be a bot that just didn't get finished. It could have been a test that from China or Iran or some other country throwing bots out there to test them, and then when they fail, they're just like, well, I mean, why would we pull it out? It's creating havoc on these platforms, even though it's broken and doesn't work how we meant it to. Or who knows? It could be the AI models that they're turning on to the internet to read everything, and they're injecting themselves. The AI may be coming alive. It's turning into Skynet. You never know, man, unless you're the one doing it.
Not if people are disagreeing, but if they're being if they're enraging me. And then that is also like an incentive toward creating whitelists.
We have no clue. I do. I've been on social media ever since social media was pretty much invented. I've seen this happen the entire time.
True.
I probably understand this better than almost anyone.
I understand it almost better than anyone. And I think Asmongold knows more than I do. But I also don't know anybody who actually knows anything about this stuff, because I live in the middle of nowhere in the country. So like all of the people that I know, they have no idea how to use any kind of technology except for like they know how to log into Facebook on their phone.
That's why I understand how the botnets work and how they can build their systems. Of course. I guarantee you this is what's happening.
Or really robust block lists of people like this. But honestly, it feels more like a whitelist than a block list problem, because if it costs nothing to have this kind of activity, I just don't think it costs much. I think it's on the order of dollars, like single dollars per year to run an account like this. So I don't know why they wouldn't do it. And that's something that like a Blue Sky like protocol would allow. It would allow some people to sign up for only the internet that is definitely real humans, if that's what you would prefer. And I think that's maybe what a lot of people would prefer.
A Blue Sky doesn't allow that to happen. It doesn't prevent that from happening either. Anybody can do that without Blue Sky. All you have to do is join a website that has real ID verification. Like a very crude version of this is that every single girl that streams on cam sites has to post a picture of herself next to her driver's license for them to confirm that she's 18 years old. So yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for actually over 10 years.
Right, this is the video. I'm going to go play Connections, everybody. Let's do that. I haven't played Connections yet this morning, but I need to tell you about something else real quick. And yes, I have changed shirts because I just went to the gym and I'm cutting this in later. This video is brought to you by Complexly.store, which is a place where you could go to buy a bunch of cool stuff and also support the work that we do at Complexly. Complexly is a company that makes educational online video, and we give it away for free. None of our videos are put behind a paywall, and we believe that is the right way to do things, but we do need to make money somehow. It is not a particularly easy business to run. We have razor thin profit margins every year, and you can check out Complexly.store where you can get a ton of very cool stuff. Everything from simple stuff like the Crash Course University t-shirt, established 2012. Yes, Complexly helps to make Crash Course, but also SciShow and Bizarre Beasts and PBS Eons and a bunch of other stuff. You could buy an Anubis scented candle.
I do like SciShow. By the way, I said earlier I don't like Hank Green. I do like Hank Green. I just don't like it when he talks about politics or like social media or anything that's not something that would be relevant to SciShow.
It's presents
Anu-
for the
how do you
nerds
know
in
what
your
Anubis
life,
smells
right?
like?
You can also buy our 2025 calendar because you're going to need a calendar, and you might as well have a beautiful one that supports good, high quality
Like death? Yeah, I was about to say.
educational content.
It looks like wokeism. It looks like wokeism.
That supports good, high quality.
It really does. Does it not?
Like death? Yeah, I was about to say.
Educational content on the internet. People love these crash course composition books. You can get a 3-pack for $10, which seems like too cheap. Honestly, I feel like we should make that more expensive. And in fact, I'm going to email.
Why does wokeism always look like elementary school drawings and paintings? It like some stuff that you would see in the hallways of an elementary school. Why? I mean, I understand this is a crash course thing, and it's supposed to be educational and for like kids and stuff. But like all the woke stuff looks like that too now. Everything just looks like that. And it's gross. I always thought that stuff was lame growing up, and I think it's even lamer now.
Email them to make it more expensive, but if you see this before
That's a
that
good idea.
happens, you're gonna get that for cheap. Jesus, that is cheap. Why are we selling them that cheap? So check it out at complexly.store. There's a
cool
link
idea.
in the description. Cookie, Emmy, Grammy, Katie, Junior, Oscar. Well, we got Oscar and Emmy. Tony, that's another one. Pop, Cece, Mummy, Count, Meadow, Snuffy.
What?
Ooh, these are a lot of names.
Snuffy, that's
Mummy,
a VTuber.
Count, Carmela, Cece's Pizza, Cookie, Monster. Monsters? No. Eddie? Is Eddie a monster? Snuffy. I don't know what that is.
She's a
Emmy,
raccoon.
Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Okay, that's what that is. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that
obviously.
that's just that. Emmy,
What
Grammy,
is this?
Oscar, and Tony.
I'm so confused.
And like that'd be a weird one to have be a red herring.
This is just him
but-
talk. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm so confused. Okay, so he just
This is an
randomly
ad.
started playing a fucking game.
It's an ad.
Okay, well, anyway,
No,
that's
watch the
pretty much
rest.
about the whole thing.
Watch
with
the
Blue Sky
rest.
stuff. All right, that's an ad for his site. That's smart. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, take something that's a popular topic and then use the other half of the video to talk about your product. There you go. He moved on to the gaming portion of the stream. Yeah, I guess so. I'll link you guys the video here. And anyway, going back to this stuff with Blue Sky, I do think that this is something that's going to become increasingly more common, and it will happen. Yeah, good sales pitch. Yeah, there you go. And Bro's farming the views with his ad. Yeah, it's smart. It's the anti-Twitter. Well, this is happening on Twitter. It's happening on Reddit. It's happening on YouTube. Like, so here's an example of it happening on Reddit. When it happened on Reddit, it was basically a like the New World thing. Do you remember the New World thing where somebody said like New World feels good different on the PTR? And then everybody thought Amazon was paying bots to do this, but it was actually just bots that were scraping comments and then repeating them. So that's really what it comes down to. 5 likes and 9 comments, fucking bums on Blue Sky. I don't think Blue Sky is going to go anywhere, and I don't think it's going to be popular ever. I think that you're obviously going to have some people. This is the issue with Blue Sky, right? Is that Blue Sky is marketed as an alternative to Twitter. It's not marketed as its own independent product that has its own value. It's all of its value is derived from not being something else.
True. And what's going to happen when X changes a little bit? And Blue Sky is still trying to be the anti-Twitter, but then it's not like Twitter. So it can't be the anti-Twitter. And then that's how it dies, is because it's marketing as the anti-Twitter, and then if it's not like Twitter, then it's not the anti-Twitter anymore. And then what do you got to market on? That it is like the old Twitter that's terrible? I remember old Twitter. I was on old Twitter. It was terrible. I was suspended multiple times. I got suspended for like a month, and I just quit using it. I just went to Discord. I stopped using like regular social media outright for a little while.
And not being something else is a very bad value proposition. And you can already see, even in the United States, like, so if you look at worldwide, like Twitter versus Blue Sky is like 95-5. But even on in the United States, where it's like, it was like, you know, 20 and this is like interest, right? Interest on Google searches. It was like 20-80 or like 80-20 with like Twitter at 80% and Blue Sky at 20. It's gone down to below 10 now. Nobody gives a shit about Blue Sky. Nobody ever gave a shit about Blue Sky. People.
What about Threads? Everybody remember Threads? It was the anti-Twitter back when X first became a thing. And I mean, Threads is still around, but nobody uses it.
People just didn't like Twitter. It's the same as Mastodon or any of these other platforms. They're just going to go over there for a while and then they're going to leave. So that's it. Truth Social. Yeah, it's basically the liberal version of Truth Social. Is this like a stream of consciousness, effectively, with all of the things that are occurring on Blue Sky at a time? Yes. I think this proves my point. Look at how many of these things are English. Almost everything here is English. There you go. Most? Yeah, exactly, right? That's because it's primarily an English platform. Because why would, like, if you're not part of the American culture that's been trained to hate Elon Musk, why would you, for any reason, go to Blue Sky? Zero reason. So yeah.
Oh, well, that's a good one to start next on.
Who's creating this non-human?
Yeah, well, it's already getting really weird. And I think it's just going to keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder until either we're going to have to all be identified as real people, or we're just not going to have the internet and social media because it's going to be taken over by fucking Skynet. Anyway, I believe this is, well, upper echelon. Dead internet theory is becoming real. This is a good segue from the last video into this one. I have a PayPal down there in the description, or I have super thanks right there. It just says thanks somewhere. And I've got a new series coming, and that all that money that you send me is going toward that, where I'm going to be doing a weekly series talking about movies, not reacting to movies, but doing commentary on movies, kind of like AVGN and Nostalgia Critic does, or Elvis the Alien. And I've got a couple movies that I'm working on right now. I'm almost done with 28 Days Later. That'll probably be the first one that I drop. And I'm working on Eight-Legged Freaks, and I'm working on I forget what the other one was. The Mummy. I'm working on The Mummy. So stay tuned for that. Leave a super thanks or drop me some funds in that PayPal. And I'd love you a lot for that. Anyway, upper echelon, dead internet theory.
Okay, today's a bit of a complicated video, but let me start with this. Dead internet theory, which is a two-part claim asserting that 1, the internet has been taken over by artificially generated content, with bot interactions vastly outnumbering any human component still active within it, and 2, this was done deliberately by state actors for nefarious purposes. That theory is becoming true, at least half true. Not that it's super important for today, but the origin of this theory is rather difficult to fully pinpoint. One of the earliest examples we know of is a post by a user named Illuminati Pirate on a website forum called Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe, with an outline of what the theory purports to be happening. But after the term was signal boosted by various YouTube videos or mainstream publications even, like The Atlantic, the term dead internet theory became a very well-known online conspiracy. Expanding on what that theory actually says, the half that I believe to be increasingly accurate, I should say, it goes a little something like this. Google and other large search engines out there have become sort of like Potemkin villages, which is an old Russian phrase referencing a village that was constructed just to impress Catherine the Great, but had no legitimate buildings. A Potemkin village was just an outward facade, built to give the illusion of depth with no actual content. And much the same way a two-dimensional piece of wood can be painted to resemble a three-dimensional construct, search engines are being dressed up as deeply immersive tools, while the true content that they serve is just a tiny fraction of what is claimed.
Dude, I know everyone's noticed this, but search engines just aren't working anymore. When I'm trying to find the information that I'm looking for, used to work all the time. Now it doesn't pop anything up that has anything to do with what I'm looking for unless I look up like a straight up news article. And even then it has to be the establishment news articles. It can't be some fringe thing. Like, it can't be, I can't look up a Timcast article on Google. It's just going to show up all kinds of other articles that are partnered with Google. And the same goes for any search engine.
On top of the fact that the content they serve is now majority synthetic. Just to add, the second half of this theory is where I personally draw the line. If you don't, that's fine, but I don't necessarily believe that government forces are nefariously pushing some sort of anti-human online internet agenda. I think it's more so just a problem of human greed that's responsible for all this.
Yep.
But for the purpose of today's video, I want to make the argument that the first half of the dead internet theory, if not true already, is rapidly becoming true, with very few adequate countermeasures in place to stop it. Don't get me wrong, there are some countermeasures in place. I'll even have evidence of that in real time later on in this very video, but the overall trend that we see is completely skewed. So much so that entire Google search trends are now being primarily driven by self-perpetuating dead internet theory content. Let's get into it. My primary example for the day is going to revolve around Elon Musk, Tesla, and two very fictional but highly visible online products. To be clear, before anyone complains in the comment section, I dislike Elon Musk and his various businesses for a bunch of personal reasons, but this really doesn't have anything to do with that, because while his name, brand, and certainly his face are part of the subject matter, it's not because of any decision he's making. It's because the dead internet theory machine has identified these two products, which don't exist, as a perfect vehicle for profit. I would go so far as to say it's an entire cottage industry, actually, but ultimately I'll leave that part up to the viewers. First up, example number one is the Tesla phone, and this is where I have to draw a timeline. Bear with me. Elon Musk actually has mentioned the concept of a Tesla phone on more than one occasion, but only through a lens of it's probably never happening. The most prominent and recent examples that I could find personally are these. October 22nd, 2024, published by The Standard, referencing a town hall in which he said, quote, when asked about the phone, "That's a lot of work. The idea of making a phone makes me want to die. But if we have to make a phone, we will. But we will aspire not to make a phone." End quote.
What he means by that is if phones just aren't working anymore like they're supposed to, and like they're being compromised and are actively like getting in the way of us doing tasks, then he's gonna make, he's going to have his companies make a phone that is going to be better than every other phone. And that's what he's talking about there, and he really don't want to do it because that's a lot of hard work and a lot of money.
Seems pretty definitive to me, sure, but there's also an appearance on Joe Rogan, November 4th of 2024, where he explicitly states we're not doing a phone, with an added description of how they potentially could do a phone from a technical perspective, but they're not, and they won't ever unless some sort of extenuating circumstances arise with Apple and Samsung. Essentially, Elon Musk has not done or said anything to give credit to the concept of a Tesla phone, and yet the concept of a Tesla phone is a proliferating online content subject. Let's put the comments in context here. This is the Google search interest graph for Tesla phone over the past 12 calendar months. Musk made his comments on October 22nd and November 4th, or thereabouts, but if we look at the search interest, the number of people searching for Tesla phone on Google had already massively increased well before October 22nd, and seemingly went significantly down during and around the time of his Joe Rogan appearance. That's kind of strange. Making things a bit more complicated, there is a company called Tesla that manufactures phones, as well as home appliances and other small electronics, but this company has no correlation to Elon Musk and has existed for many years. It seemingly has no impact, nor could have any impact, on Google Trends. This left me with a question. Why is it that search interest for the term Tesla phone is seemingly ballooning or contracting without any mainstream coverage of the topic whatsoever, as the founder in question explicitly denies that the company is working on or likely will ever work on that kind of product? And how does that make any sense at all? Well, it doesn't make sense until you consider the dead internet theory. the amended version at least, where a substantial and growing part of the online world is synthetic content created solely for the purpose of advertising, with a dwindling.
Okay, this is a bad video because he's trying to make it seem like nobody was searching for the Tesla phone when the Tesla phone was being mentioned. Like, no, what? Excuse me? And also, Elon Musk was talking about the Tesla phone a lot. Those weren't just the 2 instances. And the reason Joe Rogan brought it up on the Joe Rogan show was because Elon Musk mentioned it elsewhere. That's why it started to bubble up before he went on the Joe Rogan show. It's easily explained. You don't have to explain it with bots. I mean, sure, maybe some bots were looking up Tesla phone. I don't even know who this guy is, but I'm thinking that he's starting to seem to me like he's got a little bit of TDS. Or really EDS, but EDS and TDS are the same thing right now. If you don't like Elon, you probably don't like Trump. If you don't like Trump, you most likely don't like Elon.
Number of human participants involved. Let me explain. See, as I made this video, which has been in the works for a while, one of my primary examples I ended up using, or was going to use, was this channel right here, Tech Central. Yeah, Tech Central had hundreds of videos spread out across the past, I don't know, long time, and dozens of those videos correspond in subject matter and time frame with the Google trend for Tesla phone. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you think about it, this channel got terminated by YouTube right in the middle of my video process, which was simultaneously a good thing to see and also irritating for the purpose of making content. It was a really good example, is what I mean. However, because the issue is getting so big, it's not like I had to struggle here in finding more, so let's move on to this. This is another channel called Garage Head, posting close to 1,000 videos of all sorts of different subjects. But just like Tech Central, which is now suspended, they had a particular focus on Tesla phones. Here's one from October 12th, 42,000 views, titled, "Just Happened, Elon Musk's $100 phone finally hitting the market." Obviously that's not true, but we need more examples. Here's another one, October 22nd, 32,000 views. Elon Musk's $100 Tesla phone with Starlink connection finally for sale. Again, explicitly not true. It's a 23-minute video, very slight edits from the one we looked at previously, entirely voiced over by AI, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. November 2nd, it happened. Elon Musk's new $100 Tesla phone destroys Apple. November 28th, with 56,000 views. Elon Musk just revealed Tesla's new $100 phone finally hitting the market. 1 day ago, Elon Musk just announced Tesla's new $100 phone, and the list goes on. It's an entire content pipeline, but let me go further. Here's a channel called Voyager, 500,000 subscribers, posting 1.7 thousand videos so far, with AI-generated voice and subject matter like this. October 10th, 80,000 views. Elon Musk, Tesla's new Pi phone beats iPhone 16 in every way. Or how about this? Tesla phone Model Pi unboxing 6 days ago, when the product that they are supposedly unboxing doesn't exist. And I could keep going for quite a long time with a list of channels, collectively millions of subscribers, holding many, many thousands of videos, promoting something that isn't real, with AI voiceover and extremely similar visuals. Some people see that, obviously, and think, who cares, big deal, doesn't matter, but let's put these videos on the timeline. During, before, and still after the search term interest, I should say, for Tesla phone exploded on Google Trends, dozens of channels were producing hundreds of videos, collectively getting hundreds of thousands of views, all advertising that a $100 Tesla phone had just been released. Having already established that Elon Musk's own comments likely had nothing to do with the sudden explosion of search term interest, and that these videos were being propagated heavily before those comments were even made, where did those searches come from? Answer: they came from the dead internet, because edited content promoting products that don't exist got heavily propagated by a network of AI slop channels, which in turn directly influenced Google's trending searches, with an unknown but material impact on how the search engine then serves content to other real people, aka dead internet theory in action. Just to drive it home, let's take our second Tesla product, the tiny house in this case, and show the same thing. Over the past 12 months, search...
But he's also not taking into account with this spike that it's being mentioned and people are seeing it all at once. There was probably some kind of ad campaign done, and people did search for the Tesla phone. I searched for the Tesla phone back then. My buddy searched for the Tesla phone back then. We were talking about it. We had conversations about it. Like, people were talking about it. It's not like it just kind of happened out of nowhere. Like, this was a thing. This is how social media trends work. It's like this guy hasn't been on social media. And, like, sure, some of it's botted. There's a lot of bots, but, like, Mr. Beast has a lot of bots. Everybody has a lot of bots. AOC has a lot of bots. I see a lot of AOC bots on Twitter.
Search term interest for Tesla House on Google Trends has spiked once, end of October to mid-November, and during that time, I could find hardly anything having to do with Tesla or houses anywhere online. In fact, the only legitimate mention of Tesla and tiny house really in the same sentence together appears to be an Australian concept prototype where...
No, this guy's stupid. Is he stupid? Because Elon Musk runs Tesla or owns Tesla, lives in a tiny house. Tesla, tiny house together ends up being searched a lot by just being correlated in the same sentence, because they'd leave all the other words out of the sentence. Elon Musk, who owns Tesla, lives in a tiny house. Tesla, tiny house. That's how it gets into the search.
They use a tiny house to showcase Powerwall, a completely separate product, and yet search term interest for Tesla House is dramatically rising now, years later. Why? This is why. Just like with the phones, there's a network of channels, AI voiced, though some of them are getting pretty good and it's hard to tell, machine gunning content into the feed, which is completely fake. The same channel I talked about previously, or was going to talk about before it got suspended, Tech Central, was also doing this on dates like October 30th and November 4th, even mere hours before it got suspended. But so were these channels. Atom Tech, with over 600 videos, just like Tech Central, similar timing, similar subjects, and dozens of them focused on this non-existent, sometimes $10,000 house, sometimes $6,000 tiny house, with more and more examples in tow. How about this one? Morrow. Now, apparently Donald Trump.
I just want everybody to realize how many of these videos there are, how many times they get searched, all of these views. Most of these views on these videos are not real. They're botted and didn't search these terms. These videos are existing because people are searching them. They're not causing the searches. They are causing some of the surge after, but what is happening is people are hearing about it and it surges a little bit, and then the bots take off with it, and that's why you get a little bump and then it goes up, because it's everybody mixing. The whole internet, it's chaos. It's not just like one thing. This guy's acting like that this is all caused because of bots. No, they're just a small sliver of it. Very, very small sliver.
Is involved with the tiny houses, which was posted 2 weeks ago, or this one from November 6th. $10,000 net zero Tesla home for market. Awesome. Here's another one. Core Electrical Engineering, which appears to be just getting started on YouTube. Not much traction yet, but still has over 100 videos, AI voiceover, manipulated footage, and titles like this. $5,000 Tesla tiny house will change housing forever. Here's another one. Electric. Apparently now the house is $30,000, which was posted October 29th with over 120,000 views. And if you
By the way, I'm not disagreeing with him that there's a lot of bots that are causing these searches to go to spike, but they're not coming out of nowhere. They're coming out of people talking about them and causing it to trend, and then the bots pick it up, and then people pick it up, and then bots pick it up, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it happens with everything. And it doesn't always have to include bots. That's just how trends go. Like, people start talking about eating Tide Pods, then all of a sudden it's everywhere. You just see a couple things here and there, just a couple things, and then all of a sudden it takes one to just make it take off. I think this guy is kind of just using Elon Musk as a, I don't know what you call it. He's using him as an example because he doesn't like him. And people are seeing all these bots being like, oh, Elon Musk has bought it. All of this stuff is bullshit. They just want that in the back of people's minds. I hope I'm getting this right about this guy, that he has Elon Musk derangement syndrome. Seems like he does.
Flash back to that Google Trends graph. Suddenly we see the connection. This flood of AI content aimed at Tesla houses originated before, during, and after the search term spike, appearing to indicate that the dead internet content machine is achieving a scale, even when talking about smaller topics like this, that is directly impacting Google's search terms. Best case scenario, though I see no evidence of this whatsoever, the dead internet content machine is operating in a parasitic way with actual news announcements. Something happens, some big announcement, they pile on board and leech ad views, but at worst, which is far more likely in my opinion, the dead internet content machine is large enough now to where it just picks something conducive, in this case Elon Musk, because of high interest in a public figure, the cult-like fan base, and two products that are kinda maybe plausible, but not really, floods YouTube and other platforms with content, and then creates the spike in Google search interest as a result of that. Here's the thing, that's still just one layer, because I know people are going to brush it off, but there's another angle in play here where the advertising on these videos is very often deep-faked content of celebrities promoting various products. 404 Media had a really good piece about this, which showcased multiple of these ads, all coming from a singular identity-verified Google advertising account, which has since taken everything down, obviously, but was previously running over 300.
Do you not get these ads anywhere else but those? I get them constantly, especially on the TV. TV's ads on YouTube are the worst. It is constantly Joe Rogan AI ads and like Mr. Beast AI ads. I don't get them on my phone, and I definitely don't get them on my PC because I'm running a blocker. But they're everywhere. It's not just because, oh, these videos, they're botted and they have botted ads. And yes, they do have botted ads, but everything has botted ads. All the ads are botted. And that's why I use a blocker.
Of these ad types. And they showcase that not only is the content fake, AI generated, false premise, false product, etc., the advertising is fake, with celebrities being manipulated with AI in order to sell you things on the video, where a celebrity's product that doesn't exist is now being used to attract enough attention to manipulate search terms. As a side note, there's a platform called Guardio, which I directly contribute to by forwarding them things that need to be blocked by their service, such as a massive network of crypto scams that were being spammed and propagated underneath my own videos, in another example of dead internet theory. And they're extremely good about blocking pages from scam advertisements, or generally protecting Chrome users from online threats. So if you want a special discount, you can use the link down below to check that out. I'm not directly sponsored by them. I promote them on my own with an affiliate thing because of how good they are, but having also helped.
I promote them on my own as an affiliate thing. Bro, you're making money from it still. By the way, don't use stuff like Guardio. Learn how to actually protect yourself online. Like that shit is just a botted scam too. They make ad revenue off of that. And like they can't actually do anything actually good for you because then their service would be unneeded. Just learn how to do it yourself, because all they're doing is they're doing the bare minimum so they can get money from, if they're not getting paid from you, they're getting ad revenue. Same thing with VPNs, same thing with pretty much everything that's advertised on YouTube. It's all just doing the bare minimum, basically a scam to get money out of you. That's where the real dead internet is to me. Is people that are just promoting shit because they want money, not using the product, not liking the product. Just money, 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 money. That's why all these bots exist too. It's because of money.
The service better by flagging threats. It felt like a good mention here. Anyway, this problem, the problem of dead internet theory expanding to a point where it's eclipsing actual human content, isn't just isolated to Google or YouTube. It's infecting almost every single major network out there. I won't make the video.
I can see it now, people telling me I'm stupid and wrong toward the beginning of this video, up until he said the thing that I literally have been saying the whole video, and then he says, I don't see this as likely, but it's a possibility that the bots are just parasitic and they're feeding off of trends instead of creating them. That's what he's saying, basically, is that they're creating these trends, they're affecting the search terms. And I don't think that's what's happening. I think Google has figured out that this could happen and has put mostly a stop to it. They can't put a stop to it whenever something starts to trend, and then the bots pick it up though, because then everybody's involved and they can't tell. But if there's a trend going that nobody's involved with except for these fake accounts, they can spot that pretty quick and change the numbers.
6 hours by diving into the AI-plagued realm of Facebook. Your parents are probably absorbed in a bubble of fake content right now, by the way, on that platform.
Facebook is dead. Like, everything he's saying is true about Facebook. It is dead. It, like, there's just, it is mostly bots over there. Like, I get multiple friend requests a day from Facebook. I keep Facebook because I live in a small town, and a lot of my family and friends have it because it's a small town. Facebook is pretty good to keep small towns, like, connected. But it's so many bots. So many. Mostly porn bots.
Facebook is like ground zero for it. But even just a couple weeks ago, I covered the pervasive phenomenon on Instagram where AI-generated influencers are stealing videos, replacing the faces of real women, and then re-uploading that content to a brand new profile, with millions upon millions of followers, likes, and views. Sure, some of these examples are worse than others, and sure, not all of them have broken through yet to a mainstream consciousness, but they're about to, because dead internet theory is real, and trust me, you're going to be hearing about it a whole lot more in the future. Fake content is now being made where the majority of interactions are also fake on that content, but that manufactured content is ensnaring a portion of legitimate users, and those users then serve as the profit foundation for a bloated internet ecosystem that increasingly resembles, with striking similarity, the online world that this so-called dead internet theory claims as reality. It is, or at least it's rapidly becoming that way, because the tools that we have at our disposal now allow for one person to produce a never-ending feed of manufactured content that previously would have taken dozens, maybe even hundreds of people to replicate. Much of that content built around simulated human interactions, thereby fulfilling at least half of the dead internet theory's current definition. As the ratio of human-generated content versus synthetic-generated content continues to skew downward in the wrong direction, the problem will become self-reinforcing. If the bots can generate enough content to where Google thinks that the content is now trending.
You know what's going to end up happening if this does get out of hand and we, like, just can't use the internet? You know what we're going to do? We're still going to use the internet. We're just going to not use the regular spaces anymore, and we're just going to go to these small little communities where we can actually figure out who's real and tell who's real and ban everybody who's not. And they could, like, and lock it down to where it's invite only. Probably what's going to end up happening.
And serves it to real people as a result. The problem will only get worse. And when that content is then populated with fake views, which has been happening for a long time, fake comments, which is happening increasingly as of late, where ChatGPT generates the words, and fake advertising with AI manipulated commercials, we will live in a horribly completed digital circle that fully embodies the term dead internet theory, minus the part about governments doing it deliberately. In my mind, it's happening purely because human beings are greedy. They see the path of least resistance and end up taking it, typically for profit, which means this time, unfortunately, they're choosing AI influencers, advertising, and content generation with increasing frequency using synthetic tools. I guess we'll find out soon whether or not major tech platforms have any actual motivation to stop it, but right now they're benefiting from it. Right now it's just more content and more advertisements being served on more content. So it has to tip really far before the pendulum comes back and it gets bad, because at the moment it's actually kind of a benefit to them.
Yeah, it's gonna get real bad when all these bad actors are making money off of their bot revenue and start taking over these platforms and turning them into things that we don't want. Oh, wait, that's already happening, isn't it? That's what happened to Twitter. That's why Elon Musk took it over, basically, because it was being run by censorship and bots. There were so many bots before X took over. So many. Like, I don't get much engagement on X anymore, but that's because on Twitter, when it was Twitter, I had a lot of engagement, mostly from fake people. And guess what? It's happening the same on Facebook now. Mostly engagement from fake people. And they're not even good. You can tell most of the time on Facebook. Because it'll be like a female's profile picture, and then you'll click on it and it'll be like, Emma changed his profile picture.
So there's not going to be much effort to stop it. That's it. In my opinion, dead internet theory is very real, and I hope I've made a compelling case for it. There's links down below to support the channel, a special VPN deal, Guardio for Chrome users to protect yourself.
I think it's dead social media theory, you could say. I don't think it's dead internet theory, because I'm only seeing bots on social media, and that's it. There are no bots anywhere else that I've noticed. Like, on any other apps, no messaging apps got bots. I mean, sometimes people put bots in them, but they get snuffed out pretty quick, like on Discord. The Discord that I'm in, there ain't no bots, other than the ones that people have placed in there themselves that were in that Discord server that are meant to be there. There aren't any bots. Unless you're not paying attention and you got like 1 million people in your server, there are probably some bots. But if you got like 2,000 people in there, there ain't no bots. They're all real people, especially if you're charging for memberships. I'm gonna take a break for about 5 minutes. I'll return. Timer for 3.5 minutes. All right, I returned. I just stood outside my door and stood there for 5 minutes. Literally, that's what I did. And just vaped. I'm gonna figure out what video I'm gonna watch next, and then I'll bring this stream back up. Let's see. Probably should turn the desktop audio back on. Do we want to watch another Asmongold video? Yeah. Let's watch another one.
Affecting modern.
Okay. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Oh my god.
Okay, today's a bit of a complicated video, but let me start with this.
What is happening? Okay. I wish I would have had the screen up to see that. That was ridiculous. So what happened was the video would not pause. This bar over here would not go away. It's supposed to go away when you move your mouse away. So I tried to pause it, and then it tried to full screen the video, but it only full screened it halfway, and I still couldn't pause it, and then the bar was still there. That was messed up. Brave, fix your shit. I just switched to you, man. Everybody was saying you were so much better. I like Libre Wolf. Libre Wolf was working just fine. It just didn't have enough features, in my opinion. But I could fix that. I'll just add more features in with the Mozilla plugins. Anyway, let's get to this. What was it? This one. Oh, it's still broken. Okay. Okay. Unreal Engine 5 is killing games. And I've been talking about this for a long time. And I've been catching hate for it. 'Cause people are like, Unreal Engine, it looks good. It makes to where developers with not as much money can make games easier. Well, guess what? I don't want them to make games easier. I don't want it to be easier to make games, because then people are just going to make slop. They're going to take the easy way out every time. I like it when it's hard to make games, because that's how you get good creativity. That's how you get workarounds around problems. That's how you get stuff like I think jumping straight up was a glitch, was it not? A lot of the game mechanics that we use today started out as glitches because it was hard to make video games.
Unreal 5 is killing games? What?
This is an investigative report addressing the most negative aspects affecting modern game development, specifically the deterioration of realistic graphics and the manufactured increase in computing cost. I am Kevin Jimenez, the founder of Threat Interactive, a new game production studio aiming to unlock the full potential this next generation of gaming can provide. And we'll show just how by the end of this video.
Okay.
There are 3 interconnected factors that need to be addressed: creativity, performance, and visuals. Let's begin with creativity. Several videos online are already bringing awareness to the decreasing quality of gameplay, open worlds, and the microtransactions affecting the majority of games.
The 2 biggest video game makers in America now make most of their money not from people buying games, but on subscriptions and spending within those games.
Yeah.
In fact, electronic...
It's getting real rough too, because games are starting to fail, games with microtransactions.
Every game does it.
And Take-Two Interactive both make a staggering 75% of their money from what's called microtransactions.
Jesus.
However, I
75%?
personally loathe the popular critique that photorealistic games are not fun, they lack art style, and we need worse graphics to fix it.
I want shorter games with worse graphics. Yes, I have been saying this. I want $30 Xbox 360 games. If we got PS5 and Xbox Series X games costing $100, I want $30 Xbox 360 games again. I do not care about these multi-hundred-hour experiences left and right. I don't care. I just want my straight-up 10, 15-hour experiences for $30. Not full price. Not full price. I'm not paying full price for something that's the size of a 360 game. But those are the games that I want.
Yeah.
This defeatist attitude is a byproduct of modern development, not visual progress. As industry game developer veterans put it, one thing you do is 10 things you don't. Currently, graphics dominate the do list, leaving gameplay and art style in the don't category.
He's completely right. I feel like visuals for games totally take precedent over gameplay. It's so weird how somehow with video games, gameplay isn't priority number one.
Graphics are currently in a chaotic state, but once the entire developer industry can
That's because you can't play a trailer, except for when they release playable trailers like PT. But you can't play a trailer. You have to go based on how it looks. You got to hype people up. That's what they think. And that's all that they care about when it comes to marketing. How good does it look? Not how fun does it look.
easily create highly performant photorealism within their engines, competition can begin to solely focus on art direction and gameplay. But recent opportunities for outstanding games with captivating stories and incredible gameplay have been tarnished by the next two factors. 30 FPS on next-gen consoles is unacceptable for many reasons.
Because it sucks. That's the only reason it matters. Why is 30 FPS unacceptable? Because it sucks. If you look at it, it looks like it sucks. It's not even a question. It's awful.
It appears choppy and promotes a reliance on accessibility such as motion blur.
Yeah.
30 FPS also induces extreme judder and motion on numerous screens. With only 30 frames, the quality of gameplay logic and basic responsiveness falls short, especially when tons of other titles offer that same basic responsiveness.
That's right.
There are numerous 8th generation console titles that ran near photorealistic visuals at 60 FPS, and that was on 2013 2 teraflop hardware.
In my opinion, I feel like the expectation should be like 80 to 100 FPS, if not more. Like at this
right now, I expect 90. Like that's my standard is 90. That's what I'm looking for in games is 90.
Point, I don't even think 60 is enough to have like a really good, fluid, feel good game. Yeah, like 120. Yeah, exactly.
FPS titles like
120
PS4 are kind of excused here, but modern studios are churning out these.
A lot of people say 144, but I got a 144 monitor. Well, technically, it's a 165.
Half-baked games with absurd requirements.
Well, here's what the problem is, right? Like, look at this. I don't know. I thought Remnant 2 was good, but like slop. Okay, I guess. And like these two, RoboCop. I don't know about this one, and people did like Alan Wake 2. To be fair, I don't. Yeah, I thought Remnant 2 had good graphics, but so many of these games are just garbage games, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about how. When a game is bad in one thing, in a lot of cases, it means it's going to be bad in everything else too. Like, you know, Starfield, Suicide Squad, and Forspoken. These games are garbage in like 7 different ways.
Churning out these half-baked games with absurd requirements, creating an illusion that 13 teraflop 2021 architecture isn't powerful enough for basic photorealistic performance standards set years ago. This leads us to our final issue. The basic standard of 60 FPS is only offered at the cost of our next and biggest problem, visuals. I firmly advocate for photorealism, but the industry is advancing in it in a manner that is worthless during basic movement, through a cancer in real-time rendering, a graphics programming scapegoat that is destroying every game in its path.
What?
It's called TAA, and that stands for Temporal Anti-Aliasing. And this includes upscalers. There are great videos trying to bring awareness about them.
I talk so much about upscaling, and I try and tell people all the time that the hardware that they're using is not 4K. It is being upscaled to 4K. And nobody listens. They're like, oh, it looks fantastic. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It looks like that it was 1440 upscaled to 4K. That's what it looks like. You can tell if you have a trained eye for it. And once you know, and you can't unsee it. I guess they're just blind to it because they've been playing on shitty consoles their whole lives.
But Digital Foundry has an ignorant video that is quickly spreading inaccurate information that is damaging real-time rendering. I will expose false narratives as I show why TA has
I don't know anything about this.
Trends in conjunction with an abuse.
I know like this much about it. I don't know very much. I just know that upscaling bad. Upscaling real bad. I tried using an upscaler for images and videos. Man, does it make it look bad. It makes it look fake. Like, why are you trying to put upscalers in photorealistic games? It just makes them look unrealistic.
Use of the power offered in current generation consoles. TAA and upscalers stem from anti-aliasing, effects that aim to mimic the benefits.
Why is he dressed up like Ellen DeGeneres? Why do that? What? Because, oh, he's Canadian. Oh. Okay, never mind.
It's a 4K plus rendering, because 4K 60 FPS on affordable hardware, including that generation consoles, isn't feasible. True 4K or higher rendering ensures smooth edges on objects, better sampling on textures, thin objects, and specular highlights.
You know what's funny? When I show my friends my PC setup and I play a game, it'll be the same game that they're running. They'll be running it in 4K. I'll be running it in straight up 1440 or even 1080 sometimes, and they'll be like, "Wow, PC graphics are so far ahead of the console graphics," and I'm like, "Yeah, not really in my case though. It's because your shit is being upscaled. You don't realize that this is 1440p right now."
As you decrease the resolution, stair-stepping aliasing emerges, and thin details on meshes and specular highlighting breaks apart. FXA addresses stair-stepping for a cheap cost, but introduces noticeable blur on the entire image.
Yeah, it just blurs everything out. Yeah.
SMAA eliminates these same edges without any blur, making it much more superior. In fact, the only advantage 4K downsample to 1080p versus 1080p with just SMAA applied is thin detail and specular sampling. But modern TAA is designed to run at any resolution by jittering the rendering view in 8 or more positions as frames.
Yeah, I noticed that. Damn, I had no idea why this happened.
Are generated. After pixel reprojection logic is calculated and designed, the past frames are combined, creating an 8K-like resolution addressing thin, undersampled objects and specular highlighting.
Yeah.
But all versions of these designs have several issues. Temporal designs are destructive to object or character motion within view. The problems I'm about to show aren't usually visible under a slower threshold of motion, which is why the industry markets with slow cinematic trailers or graphical showcases. But
what the fuck? I feel like I don't even want to watch the rest of this video.
I don't want to watch the rest of it. It's scaring me. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's why they do the slow videos. I've complained about that a lot. Like, why are these videos so slow?
Because it's gonna make me see things that I haven't seen. I'm not seeing them right now. It's like this is like a fucking Morpheus red pill blue pill moment. That like after I watch this video, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, now I see it everywhere. Yeah,
Fuck.
Wake up. All right, let's get woke.
Let's go.
Produced from gameplay gets annihilated with ghosting, blur, and smearing visuals. This is why still or slow image quality comparisons by major tech influencers are both worthless and misleading. What's the point in playing a realistic game that looks like this during basic player interaction?
So I should be playing with the anti-aliasing off, or at least the TAA. I turn my anti-aliasing off completely because it makes my games jitter. I didn't know that that was an actual thing.
Wow.
Compression conveniently hides these effects of TAA and is usually mistaken for video compression artifacts. The 4K on YouTube resembles native uncompressed 1080p more than actual native uncompressed 4K.
Oh man.
Chances are you're playing games through an HDMI or better, meaning your game's image quality is uncompressed. Temporal solutions and motion degrade resolutions similar to low bitrate video compression. So having TAA on your gameplay is like adding compression to your gaming experience.
I didn't even, so like if he's looking at it frame by frame, look at
low
this.
bitrate video compression. So having TAA on your gameplay is like adding compression to your gaming experience. Because of current hardware prices that aren't changing anytime soon, 1080p and 1440p remain the most consumer-friendly target resolutions.
Oh my, wait, oh my god, look at the difference.
Soon, 1080p and 1440p remain the most...
Jesus.
Remain the most consumer-friendly target resolutions.
What the fuck was that?
1080p and 1440p remain the most consumer-friendly target resolutions. But TAA ruins these resolutions the most.
Oh my
TAA
god.
and upscalers not only ruin affordable gaming resolutions, but also damage luxury resolutions for those with enthusiast-grade graphic GPUs. TAA and upscalers are often bundled with ugly sharpeners that fail to fix ghosting or restore the original clarity and detail stripped away from smearing.
Yeah.
The FTAA subreddit, up until the creation of the r/motion clarity subreddit, remained the only online community where consumers could finally speak loud against the industry's oxymoron stance on realistic graphics. And they've listed hundreds of games.
Dude, look at that sword.
I missed it. Yeah, go back.
I love videos like this because it's like you begin the video by thinking that it's just some nerd that has like an autistic fixation on something that nobody cares about. And then you end the video and you're like, wow.
Corporations are tricking us and manipulating us because it's cheaper so they can make more money. Money! It's always money.
This is fucked. This is awful. Yes, I know. It's based. I know. Look at it.
And they've listed
I'm glad I decided to watch this video. This is blowing my mind.
hundreds of games with
I know. Look at it.
And they've listed hundreds of games
That's
with
bad.
forced TAA, with recent titles throwing out traditional AA options for upscaling.
Did you see the way the sword was just like skipping in the air? Like it was just not in places.
Methods only. Remember the SMAA versus 4K comparisons earlier? You could get the same sampling quality on thin and specular by reusing a single pass frame, which means long ghosting trails, blur, and smearing could be eliminated. I have personally compiled several pieces of data showing these temporal methods could be redesigned to prevent all these hideous motion issues, which are listed in the video description. But clear and good TAA will never become mainstream because the smeary nature of current temporal solutions are being exploited to cover up lazy and cheap development practices. In hundreds of game titles, if you can fully disable temporal solutions, you are punished severely with numerous rendering problems. Temporal dithering and frame blending dependent rendering aspects.
Oh, that's terrible.
Temporal dithering and frame blending dependent rendering aspects.
I've noticed that in like Resident Evil games a lot. Resident Evil games, it happens a lot. Especially in Resident Evil 2. They have a lot of these features in it.
Holy shit.
Bloom. Soft shadows. Denoise replacement for ray trace shadows. Ambient occlusion.
So it's just designed with all of this in
Screen
mind.
space contact shadows. Vegetation, fur, hair. Screen space reflections.
The jitter can't be
Global
turned
illumination. Translucent materials.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Not that. Look at her glasses. This is awful.
Clouds. Dithering to hide geometric camera clipping.
No way. No. No. How?
Mesh introductions. And ray trace reflections. Strip away TAA in several engines and these effects transform into an incomprehensible mess or reveal a poor approach to an aspect of rendering.
So it was never actually done right in the first place because they just assumed that they'd just smooth everything over in the end?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
This is an AI video, bro? Well, I wish they used AI to make these games. They probably would have been better.
The supposed fixes and optimizations offered by temporal anti-aliasing
And also, I don't know if it is
upscalers.
or not. I mean, it's just a guide.
But an industry lie perpetuated by Digital Foundry's TAA
Yeah, look at that.
video is the claim that TAA and upscalers enable developers to optimize these effects by rendering them at lower resolutions, allowing TAA to smooth them with supposedly no cost. But if you do some digging, you'll discover older deferred titles from under a decade ago, rendering the same basic effects independently of temporal frame smearing with similar or better performance.
That's one thing I've noticed. I feel like graphics kind of peaked in like 2014 to 2017. And we haven't really had like a huge breakthrough since then.
No, all we get is like these big reveals of like, look how our lighting has slightly changed. Look how it glows on this wall now. Look how the lighting passes through this window in Fortnite.
Or similar better visual quality. And guess what? If you need extra performance,
I noticed
from a
that playing
demanding
Metal Gear
feature,
Rising
that
Revengeance.
feature can be programmed to run at a lower resolution and or include its own temporal accumulation without blurring the entire frame. Modern implementations of last gen's basic visuals perform more poorly because studios leverage the power of next generation consoles to cut financial costs on legitimate optimization processes for faster releases. The financial savings don't end there though. TAA and upscalers enable studios to save money by integrating these popular and fully developed temporal algorithms into their engines instead of investing in the development of genuinely high-performing and self-resolving effects.
Because it's more expensive.
TAA, a large portion of rendering advancement papers tie in TAA or mention an upscaler such as DLSS
I had a
as
ladybug
required
on me.
condition to solve some issue with the design.
Oh my god.
Speaking of DLSS, people...
So... That is insane. Wake up, Neo? Yeah, this is upsetting, guys.
Wonder what Halo's gonna be like. Ha! That's why they're using the Unreal Engine. So they can turn down their costs. Gonna make the same game, it's just gonna be cheaper.
This is really upsetting. Where the hell does it... So you're telling me that they're saving money and they're still they're saving money and they're still spending over $100 million making these games? I feel like we have a problem here.
Only label it better than
What's
native
this?
because DLSS is always compared to native with TAA applied.
Yeah.
Anything compared to the worst case scenario will appear improved.
Oh my god.
The so-called best TAA algorithms are needlessly expensive and brand specific.
Yeah.
First, I have a bone to pick with DLAA. DLAA uses too many pass frames for reconstruction, which causes two problems. Long ghosting trails and significant blurring in motion compared to native with SMA.
Do you want to know what's so bad about this? Is that I actually thought with a couple of these games that it was a design choice. It was a stylistic choice. I didn't realize it was just the fucking graphics rendering being shitty. Yeah,
Stationary output. It also fails to smooth stair-stepping and motion compared to SMAA. Applying circus method with
So does Asmongold just go into a game, hit default settings, max settings, default, and then that's it? Because when I play a game, I tinker with the settings. I try and get it to look as good as I can, running as many frames as I can.
Newest DLL provides much better results, even though both examples are rendered at 1080p. But circus method isn't cheap. DLA at 1080p on a desktop 12GB 3060 costs 0.75 milliseconds. Circus method bumps it up to 2.44 milliseconds. Image quality is far from poor, but its proprietary nature, cost, and Blue Moon AI mistakes makes it unreliable for the industry. XeSS 1.3 native AA mode suffers from the same problems as DLIA, but costs 1.44 milliseconds at 1080p on the same machine. Applying Circus Method gets image quality almost indistinguishable from Circus Method DLSS, but costs 4.6 milliseconds. Next is Unreal's TSR. It's a little more complex because it implements Circus Method natively, but I give it the fairest shot possible by using UE 5.4's more optimized implementation. It's easy.
Yeah, this is way worse. Like, you can't tell really with this image, but you can easily tell with this one. I just don't understand how it's so bad. And they spend so much money on it.
It's easy to appear.
I know, because the guys at the top want it done. They have no idea how to make games. They just want it done because they know it cuts costs. And cutting $15 here or there, why not do it? We can put that money into marketing. We can put that money into the microtransactions.
Superior to Unreal's TAA, but TSR suffers from a specific hazy fizzle appearance that video compression doesn't present well enough to pair with my criticism of that aspect. But besides whether or not you think it looks fine or not, the biggest issue again is the cost when set by the maximum quality settings for anti-aliasing. It puts TSR 10 times the cost of TAA and stands around 3 milliseconds on a 3060 at native 1080p. That's the difference between 60 FPS and 50 FPS.
Jesus.
Still not convinced it's too expensive? Let's look at the Decima TAA again from 2017.
Wait, this is the way it looks? Oh my god.
These are PS4
Oh, wow.
timings. And they didn't go with SMA because of the cost combined with temporal reprojection, so they went with sharpened FXA fallback for their 2-frame TAA instead. But what if they used SMA instead? We would get 0.36 milliseconds versus both unreasonable TSR timings. With such a low base cost, and these results at 30 FPS, if we wanted to keep AAA cost under 1 millisecond on modern affordable hardware, we could catapult the quality even further with 60 FPS and use that 0.73 milliseconds of headroom with aspects such as SMA or advanced motion vectors. Meanwhile,
I don't understand why they keep focusing on trying to make this like hyper realistic when the game plays at 30. I feel like if your game has to play at
that no AA, the no AA might look like worse. It doesn't really, but it looks more fragmented, but it runs better. You can tell it runs better. Use tricks to make the grass look better. Stop trying to just like, oh, well, I mean, we gotta make it look a certain way because it's bad, so we can use FXAA and TAA on it to smooth it over so it doesn't look as bad. Why not use tricks to make it look good? Make the grass thicker. More vibrant. Make everything more cartoonish. Not everything has to look photorealistic.
At 30 FPS, it's like real life isn't at 30 FPS. So at that point, like, what about that?
TSR was put under the same scenario on screen, I guarantee you it would look like a slime show even at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
These are TAA design requisites that must be combined to keep TAA computations costs low and stop it from producing the poor image quality we've settled for more than a decade now.
Yeah.
But effect dependency is preventing progress. Unreal has long been founded on this dependency, and still heavily does. UE5 is set to worsen this industry problem because it's going to dominate the production of titles coming this generation, and Epic and its partners like CD Projekt Red have no concern over this matter.
Yeah, because CD Projekt Red
goes so far to claim that FXAA results in a loss of fidelity compared to their temporal methods.
Yeah, they're
which
using Unreal
now is only a half-truth. They also
because it's like I think about these like up-res cyberpunk videos, and none of them look like
misleading
this.
information about TSR, presenting it as a method to achieve near 4K quality with just 1080p input. Of course, they showcase this with a stationary example.
Yeah.
In reality, 540p with sufficient temporal jitter and accumulation can resolve an 8K resolution image with a stationary camera. Out of context fairy tales like this are damaging game development.
Wow.
Another out-of-context narrative Epic Games is pushing is that Nanite has a faster way to render geometry and aims to eliminate the LOD pop-in association. Nanite does not increase performance unless you abuse your scene with extreme overdraw. I've compiled many tests on the specific Unreal forums thread that proves this. Nanite can cost as much as next-gen lighting, and pop-in will still remain a part of your gaming experience because shadows, skeletal meshes, foliage, and open world partitions will still introduce pop.
And we know this from PAX Day. Because PAX Day had that same functionality.
Even Brian Karras has stated Nanite can have worse performance on optimized meshes, but stated users still enable it to save disk space. This comment is a perfect example showing Epic Games' flawed position on what modern games really need. It doesn't matter if your highly detailed open world game is 100 megabytes, but can't perform at a decent resolution and frame rate.
Yeah.
Optimized meshes don't even require nanite compression. But studios who use nanite save themselves money by not investing in quality LODs. And not investing in mesh introduction transitional effects that would give you better results.
How ironic that the games are becoming more garbage and people are buying them less and less, and they're incorporating more and more microtransactions to alleviate that, and they're also charging more, which is causing more people to just not play them. So, in actuality, them doing this to make the games worse, to be cheaper, is killing them. Just put in the extra effort and the extra money to make it look actually good.
A good practice used on optimized game meshes is the use of bitmaps for subpixel detail.
Yeah, look at that.
A good practice.
You guys see this? Watch, it just literally appears out of nowhere.
A good practice used on optimized game meshes is the use of bitmaps for subpixel detail, such as the words on these quixel stones.
Uh-huh.
Nanite encourages and is designed to render subpixel detail geometrically instead of textures,
Sure.
which causes extreme pixel crawl and artifacting, which you guessed it, can only be fixed by intense temporal frame smearing, creating a manufactured and limited scenario where flawed TAA appears as the better option. I understand the time and quality issues related to making good LDs, but Nanite is the worst solution to this problem.
UE5 will dominate all other options because this engine excels in support.
I'm talking asset packages formatted specifically for Unreal, hundreds of documentations, shared public content, overwhelming logic support. Epic Games provides hundreds of free, basic, but high-quality assets when you use Unreal.
Holy
Every
shit.
major third-party vendor with game-related software always prioritizes support for Unreal.
I hate video games
Unreal
now.
offers a unique amount of support for critical tools.
Now you hate video games? Now you hate video games? Bro, I've hated video games since 2016. I've hated video games.
For basic workflows like animation and debuggers. It's intuitive to use in comparison with competitor UI and programming designs. For studios, finding individuals to hire is made easy due to the widespread popularity and adoption of the engine.
Yeah,
it's an
yeah,
advantage
of course.
Unreal has acquired by simply existing as long as it has the way it has. That makes it the go-to for software and digital media. But the engine designs and its leadership should not be at the forefront of next-gen graphics development for critical reasons I'll outline right now. Epic provides 30 FPS presets in Unreal because they don't believe it's inadequate on 9th generation consoles. Look at Fortnite 5.4's performance. The design is CPU intensive, sure, but the art style is simplistic enough to even with GI it should provide a computational advantage. Yet it's one of the hardest games to run on the GPU side, even with a 60 FPS or high preset enabled.
Oh my
If this is the
god.
best performance offered by the engine's creators, of course it'll defend 30 FPS when basic realism or complex stylized visuals come into play. Epic has no experience making realistic games.
That's actually true.
Matrix Awakens is not a game. It's a visually exciting 30 FPS demo with enough motion blur to hide the 30 FPS screen judder. Consumers who didn't own a 9th generation console at the time.
So he's saying that, like, we thought we were living in a 60 FPS world, but we were in a 30 FPS world all along and we didn't even know it? Holy fuck, man.
Well, I already knew this because I don't play on these higher tier machines. I play on the lower tier machines. And when you get 60 and it says 60 and it'll be a flat rate 60, you'll be running around. Oh, good. You'll be running around and then it'll You know what I mean? You get jitter and it has to catch up. And it does it all the time. And it's not that the frames are skipping, it's that it's getting slower. And then it has to catch up.
Man, wake up. This is good, bro. I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while.
Saw the 60 FPS tag on the YouTube presentation and assumed that was the case. People who did experience the demo firsthand were given basic interaction through a locked aiming system that wouldn't expose the fluidity issues of 30 FPS. Epic has no problem abusing the flaws of their TAA or temporal upscalers such as DLSS for several effects I've shown throughout this video. Epic defaults their engine to rely on temporal smearing when very few TAA independent features remain undocumented and hidden behind loopholes most unsuspecting developers will never find.
I had no idea about any of
promote
this.
heavy and blurry temporal upscaling as a viable solution on 9th generation consoles. And the biggest problem with Epic and their perspective on game development is that Fortnite drives their motivations for Unreal's development.
Yeah, of course.
Fortnite is a game with a very unique and uncommon problem the engine has to accommodate for. It's an open world map in the dynamic time of day and weather. This means real-time GPU calculations need to be computed per frame to account for those dynamic changes. What makes these calculations so much more expensive in Unreal is the fact that Fortnite's entire environment is destructible. This is why more realistic open worlds from 8th generation console titles have no problem with day or weather cycles even though they don't use light maps.
Yeah, it's like if I look at this game, there's none of that in that Metal Gear Solid.
Use light maps.
Holy shit.
Because their environment, or in other words, primary source of indirect lighting, is mostly static. These games use lighting solutions that bait small, memory-efficient indirect lighting hints that your GPU doesn't have to compute. This way, your GPU just calculates how these pre-computed hints
correlate to the dynamic lights and shadows.
Yeah.
These lighting systems have their own limitations, but not a whole lot that can't be accelerated or overcome using 9th Gen's hardware.
And like, here's a good example of this. Have you guys ever walked inside of a room in Unreal and the room is super dark, and then in like a minute it becomes bright?
Yep.
I wonder if that's related to this.
Probably.
Potential. Fortnite's GI, which is Unreal's Lumen, can't let developers with the common environmental properties bake any high-quality indirect lighting hints that save you performance. Unreal's light maps are uninterpolatable and have serious leaking problems that can only be mitigated with stupid amounts of VRAM memory. So many Unreal games are wasting performance for basic visual standards because your GPU is computer whether or not a Fortnite wall has been destroyed or what that wall looks like, etc. Lumen is noisy without TAA because it isn't designed to use stable or high-quality indirect lighting hints. So top that inefficiency off in games with other Epic game technologies like Nanite, Virtual Shadow Maps, and TSR, and we're left with games
They are paying to be efficiently inefficient.
created faster than ever and as inefficient and as terrible in motion as ever. When this happens over and over again, it standardizes, which is why other studios are following these inefficient designs for their mostly static games that could use faster systems.
And so I think that
not only that, they're all starting to look the same because they're all using the same engine.
I don't know what to say. Like, I think that the problem is that it creates... I think what he's trying to argue, I'm not sure because I don't really have like a background in this. I think what he's trying to argue is that the end result of this type of cost cutting is a worse product, even though for a lot of average users, they probably don't care.
Epic Games' indifference towards underperforming
He's saying devs are lazy? Yeah.
third-party Unreal games.
I think.
Is this
Devs are lazy. Also, the gamers are lazy because they just want to experience their game. They don't care if it looks bad in some areas. They don't notice it a lot of times until they do. Until it gets out of hand. It happens all the time. Nobody cares about a thing when we're all screaming into the void until it's too late. And we're like, well, I've been telling you this whole time it's going to get bad, and it got bad. And it's not even to the point, to the breaking point yet. Nowhere close. We're just now starting to get regular people starting to talk about this kind of stuff. Like, everybody using Unreal Engine, and it's making everything look the same. My buddy, who is like, he is those types of people that just don't know, don't care, plays the game, doesn't care that some of these graphics look bad in some areas, and he's starting to notice that everything is looking like Unreal Engine. Everything's looking like Fortnite.
Statement that big budget studios should be customizing Unreal source code to provide more appropriate designs for their titles. True, but it's almost a catch-22. If a studio decides to use Unreal, it shows they lack the funding, interest, and or innovation to manage the graphics themselves. This is exactly what happens when established studios throw out proprietary engines in favor of what Unreal offers.
Yeah, this is what I think. Anytime anybody uses Unreal, I'm just like, oh, so you weren't talented enough to use something else or make your own thing. You got to use what everybody else is using because it's easy.
What?
I have one more problem with Epic that I need to cover.
What?
Unreal is used for the automotive, film, simulation, and construction industries. That wouldn't be a problem if Epic wasn't constantly accounting for this user base and modeling Unreal with algorithms not meant for consumer-efficient real-time rendering. Amidst of these issues, I gave Epic the benefit of the doubt and made a feedback thread on the Unreal developer forums 12 months ago, requesting the prioritization of game development and a larger focus on temporal smearing independence within their various effects. In only 11 months, it was voted as the #1 feedback from developers, replacing the previous #1 feedback thread made 3 years ago. Epic released several Unreal versions, including nothing pertaining to the thread's request, despite a solid number of educated developers ready to progress beyond Epic's limited vision for this generation of gaming.
Jesus.
This studio was created to begin the production of an intense
people use Unreal for all kinds of things. Like for architecture renderings and all kinds of other things too. Yeah, he rallied the devs. Yeah, this is insane.
Based on a new IP consisting over 700 pages of detailed story and scenarios. Our game is conventional due to only requiring a mostly static world with dynamic lights, making our goals much more relevant to many developers and gamers.
Yeah.
We have paused the production of our game so our unrivaled passion for motion clarity and performance standards for untainted photorealism can be met. Which is why our solution is to create a custom Unreal via crowdfunding with custom systems.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of these games that are using Unreal, when they come out, they've got performance issues. So what's the point? What's the point of doing all of things to fix your performance if it's not fixing the fucking performance? Like, what's the point?
Systems that directly address the giant issues stated in this video. Don't think a custom Unreal Engine will have an impact on developers? Take the finals for example. It performs so much better than other UE5 games, people defend Epic's UE5 and solely blame studios for any worse performing titles.
Yeah,
but the finals' extreme destructive nature made using Nanite and the associated virtual shadow maps impossible. And most people don't know that the finals uses NVIDIA's custom UE5 branch to make use of its lower quality but much faster dynamic GI, DDGI, instead of Epic's Lumen. The finals performance doesn't contradict our views on Epic's Unreal. It only proves our point. NVIDIA's custom UE5 branch is exactly how we want to execute ours. But as of now, we need funding to motivate and hire skilled graphic programmers. Our engine will always be accessible for review and use under Epic's GitHub restrictions. Unlike industry leaders, we do not believe the future of graphics is dependent on blurry or expensive temporal smearing.
I feel like that's the case, yeah, because they do.
Let's just go back to polygons. I don't care. I'm tired of all of these companies just trying to cut corners, cut costs to make everything look better, everything look smoother. Just dumb down the graphics a little bit. They don't have to be photorealistic in every game. And I say it all the time. If every game looks like real life, then every game is the same. I don't want to watch a bunch of stuff that's the same. I don't want to play a bunch of stuff that's the same. I play different games to get different experiences.
Looks so blurry.
That future is only possible if you care enough and support our vision for modern
There's exactly zero dumbing down in this video. Yeah, like, I'll be real. Like, as somebody who doesn't come from a design background, a lot of this stuff went over my head. Like, I can understand the visual differences, and I get, like, kind of what he's talking about, but a lot of it, I don't understand this, because I don't have a lot of, like, I don't have any background in this.
I only understand it a little bit more because I've looked into game development and I've watched a lot of videos on using Unreal Engine 4. I don't know much about Unreal Engine 5. I figure that it's not that much different. Just a lot more accessibility and tools added on. So I know a little bit. Not much.
So sponsors, investors,
I'm more of a Godot kind of guy.
we're ready to begin if we've convinced you. Threat Interactive, my studio, will be giving more details about how we intend to execute our plan in our next video. Until then, thank you for watching this one. And please like and subscribe to our channel and share this message on your favorite Discord server, subreddit, and social media so we can start elevating the future of gaming standards together.
Holy fuck. I'll link you guys his video. I'll give him a sub and give him a like. Yeah, here, you can subscribe to him right now. W video, yeah. Glad you're putting light on this. I had no idea about any of this, man.
I'm glad I clicked on this video because, like, I knew a little bit about it and I've been complaining about it for a while.
Yeah, please share it. There's the video. Give it a like. Give him a sub. Threat Interactive. And dynamic lighting was better 9 years ago. What? I don't even know what to say. That's ridiculous.
I'm not gonna play this game, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Let's go back. I got this in my watch later, so it keeps going to the next video. I wish you could turn that
Unreal
off.
5 is...
I wish you could turn it off in the watch later. That video was insane. That video was absolutely insane, and it's true. Like, the shitification of video games because they want to cut corners, cut costs, and that taking the easy way out, and we're getting worse games for it. We're paying for it. We're paying for this. We're paying full price for them to cut corners and make our games look worse. Paying even more than we used to. They charged us $10 extra for each video game. Base price, by the way. Base price. $10 extra. and graphics are looking worse than it did a decade ago. But make matters worse, you don't even get the full experience anymore for $70. You got to pay $100 to get the full experience. And that's just like the full regular experience. That doesn't include the future expansions that they may have beyond that. I'm done with gaming. I've been done with gaming. If you're a fan of this channel, you know that I've been done with gaming, as in the gaming sphere. I mostly stick to older games, or like new games that are in the style of older games, such as Resident Evil 4 Remake and things of the like. Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Those are like the newer games that I like. Not Dark Souls. Dark Souls is older. I haven't actually played Dark Souls, but I know that I would very much enjoy it once I got into it. I haven't played Elden Ring either, but I've played Sekiro and I have played Bloodborne. I beat Bloodborne. I did not beat Sekiro. That game was too hard. Maybe someday. I was a little young when I played that one. I'm better at video games now than I was back then because I have more patience. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end this stream. If you want to help me out with some funds for my future project, going over movies and doing commentary, I've got a PayPal down in the description, and I've got that super thanks thing down here you could do too. It's like super chats when you're streaming, but for the comments. Y'all have a good night. I will not be on stream tonight, but I'm starting back up tomorrow night, and I will continue playing Resident Evil because can't play Path of Exile 2. I ain't paying for that because I ain't got enough money. I wish I did, or I would. But I got bills to pay.